Hello? Hello, hello, hello? Can you hear me? Am I coming through clearly? Okay. Let me switch over. Oh god, hang on. This got loud all of a sudden. On my end at least. I'm just going to turn the music down just a little bit. Then we're going to start. Okay. In 3, 2, 1. Hello. And welcome to the second part. Whoops, I've got to hide that. Yeah. Welcome to the second part. Welcome to the second part of me attempting to rank my favourite games of the last 25 years. For real this time. The first time we did this, I basically completely did not fully appreciate just how intense of a task this was going to be. So since the first part, I've done some work on the back end. So let me tell you how this is going to work. We're ranking games, specifically my favourite games from the years 2001 to 2025. Okay, we're not including 2000, even though lots of people like to include the year 2000. The year 2000 is not a part of the 21st century. The 21st century so far has just been 25 and a bit years, and a couple days. It's been 2001 to 2025. We did a separate 2000 list of my favourite games, previously in part 1, back before I realised how long it would take to do it the way I was doing it then. So I've made some changes to the procedure that we're going to do. Okay, I have already basically organised all of the years and the games I've chosen for each year to represent my favourite releases from each year. I've already organised into their own separate rankings for each year. And also, we're not really going to go with gameplay examples. I'm not going to like bring up gameplay videos on YouTube anymore. If you don't know what a game looks like and you are interested to know, you'll have to look that up on your own time. You're just going to have to trust me that it is as good as I think it is as I put it onto the list. And if you want to investigate more, that's going to be on you. That shouldn't be, too much of an issue, because like 90% of the games we're going to rank tonight are going to be quite well-known games. I'm going to suspect that you're going to have heard of the overwhelming majority of what we're going to talk about. There's going to be a couple of weird ones mixed in there that you might not be completely familiar with, but again, if you're interested in knowing what they are, that's going to be on your own time. In the interests of keeping this stream reasonably short, less than 3 hours, hopefully. So let us begin. We're going to start with the year 2001, and as you can see, I've already ordered the games in 2001. I should also reiterate, we are sticking to my favourite releases from each year. We're not going to be ranking every single game that came out in the last 25 years, because I haven't played every single game that came out in the last 25 years. And I would not feel comfortable ranking games that I have not spent at least a certain amount of time playing. Also, we are limiting it to my favourite games. So every single game on this ranking list is going to be a game that I at least like. Even the game that ends up down the bottom, the very, very last place, is going to be a game that I like. Again, this is purely in the interests of not this not becoming a gigantic months-long project that I really don't want. This is just like a dumb little thing that I was meant to do at the end of 2025 that ended up unexpectedly being way more bigger and involved than I was planning. So hopefully by the end of today's stream, we'll be done. We'll have our dumb little ranking list, and we can move on with our lives. Okay, starting with 2001, I have 21 games that stand out to me as particularly good in my mind from 2001. They are from lowest, from quote-unquote worst. I still like the game, but we're going to call it worst. 21st place, C12 Final Resistance for the PlayStation 1, Soul Reaver 2 for the PlayStation 2, Paper Mario for the N64, Worms World Party for the PC, Dreamcast and PlayStation 1, Virtua Tennis 2 for the Dreamcast and PS2, Black and White for the PC, Ikaruga for arcades, Dreamcast and GameCube, Luigi's Mansion for GameCube, Rez for Dreamcast and PS2, Sonic Adventure 2 for Dreamcast and GameCube, Capcom vs SNK 2 Mark of the Millennium 2001 for arcades, Dreamcast, PS2, GameCube and Xbox, Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 for the PS2, GameCube and Xbox, Marvel vs Capcom 2, New Age of Heroes for arcades, Dreamcast, PS2 and Xbox, Star Trek Armada 2 for PC, Max Payne for PC, PS2 and Xbox, Silent Hill 2 for PS2, Xbox and PC, Advance Wars for the Game Boy Advance, Halo Combat Evolved for the Xbox, PC and Mac, Super Smash Bros. Melee for the GameCube, and Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty for the PlayStation 2, Xbox and PC. That is the order I've put them in for this specific year, so we're just going to copy them in as they are in this order directly into our main ranking list. I've just realised I put my oh shit, that was bad. No, my fucking keyboard has quick function keys built into it that are going off and I can't stop them. Fuck's sake. Whatever that tried to do, I'm not sure, because that's not what I wanted. Thanks. There we go. The microphone cable got caught on the side of my keyboard, and as I tried to move it, it hit one of the quick function keys on the side and then caused chaos to happen. Great, awesome. I need to be able to reach my keyboard. How do I do this? How do I do this? I should have figured this out, but I didn't think about it, because I never think of the things that would be most useful before I need them. Okay, I think there we go. The keyboard is in a place where I can reach it effectively now. Okay, so we're just gonna get rid of all this garbage that quick function key put in. Okay. So we're just gonna... What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove the numbers from the WordPad document first, otherwise it will copy them directly into the spreadsheet. So starting off, we're just going to copy everything as it is directly in. Oh my god. There we go. Hang on. Maybe I should have done this at least this first stage before I started. Oh dear. You know, that's the beauty of hindsight. Things always seem like such good ideas or bad ideas after you've already done them. Okay. Okay. Gonna go watch the free 5 minutes of adult television on Sky. Okay. Hey man, wherever you can get it, right? Wherever you can get it. Okay. It's all 21. Okay. I'm gonna remove that. Okay. So this is where we're starting from. This is the 2001 rankings. So let's start with the quote-unquote lowest, worst/lowest ranking of my favorite games from 2002. That would be... Hang on. Oh, I've got to find the box art now. Okay. Mafia for the PS2. Mafia for the PS2 was a really interesting open world crime sim. That was very different to GTA. It took its story a lot more seriously than GTA did, and it was trying to be a lot more realistic than GTA was, in like a really interesting way. There have been multiple Mafia sequels, but to me, the original Mafia is still the most interesting of the franchise. And is honestly the only Mafia game I like actively like. So that's why it makes it onto this list. Hang on, we're going to remove... It's fine. So... Mafia is a better game than C12. I don't think it's better than Soul Reaver 2, so... So it's going between C12... Oh my god. There we go. Goes between C12 and Soul Reaver 2. Dune Battle for Arrakis is not a 2002 game. Anyway, that's not the version you want to play. The version you want to play is the DOS version, not the Mega Drive version. You want to talk about really fucking awesome, really early RTS games? Dune 2. I think that, yeah. Battle for Arrakis was a port of Dune 2 for Amiga and DOS, and the Amiga and DOS version, specifically the DOS version, is the one you want to play. Okay. Next game. Star Trek Bridge Commander. By Totally Games. Find the box art for it. There it is. Yeah. Okay. So, Star Trek Bridge Commander is a... this is very much a me game. This is a type of game that I was very into in 2002. Back when they still made good Star Trek games. Bridge Commander, you could say, was the spiritual successor to Starfleet Academy. Really? They're trying to bring Dune 2 back. That's cool. Luckily, Dune 2 is not that hard to play because it's a DOS game, so apparently it does run quite well on DOSBox. The main problem you run into with running Dune 2 on DOSBox is that that game has a copy protection system in it, so you kind of need a full scan of the manual as well, because I think after the second or third mission, someone will be like, we've had a spy. We need you to prove that you're not a spy by telling us this specific unit stat that is written in the manual on page so-and-so. So you have to go through the manual, find the unit they're talking about, like what's its armor rating, and then type in the armor rating. And that's how that game treated its copy protection. So unless you've got a full copy, like a full PDF of the original manual of Dune 2, pirating it is difficult. Okay, that's good. You managed to find it on online. That's good. That's good. So, yeah, Star Trek Bridge Commander was a spiritual successor to Starfleet Academy, which is a game that puts you in the captain's chair of a Federation starship, and you are basically in full control of a capital ship, basically. Somewhat similar to Klingon Academy that we looked at in Part 1 for 2000. But this is a little bit more of a, I don't know, how would I put this? A starship captaining. It's fine, man. Don't worry about it. Most people are going to look at this when it's archived. It's fine. I'm basically recording this as though it were a pre-recorded video. So this goes a lot further towards like simulating the fact that you are just a guy sitting in a chair giving orders to people around you, which is really cool. It also means because you don't have direct control over the ship like you did in Klingon Academy and the original Starfleet Academy, they can't make the game as hard as it was in those other two games, because the game needs to be manageable, because you don't have direct control over the ship. You know, you're giving a command to a crew member and you're waiting for that crew member to carry out what you've told them to do in the best way that they can. So the game is not super hard. At least I didn't find it super hard. What's really cool was I try not to, personally. This game came with quote-unquote full voice support, which it didn't. It came with a piece of third-party software on the disc you had to install separately, but they really marketed this game. Actually, I've got it here. Bring over my stack of games here. Where is it? There it is. I have my copy of Star Trek Bridge Commander right here. It says on the back of the box, voice-activated technology. Star Trek Bridge Commander is compatible with the latest voice-activated technology. This option allows you to verbally issue commands to your crew without the use of a keyboard or mouse. And in theory, that sounds amazing. In practice, it's not. I mean, it's cool, but it's not super. It's not amazing. And yeah, the game itself doesn't have voice support. You're merely interacting with the game through a separate piece of software that interprets your voice commands as keyboard inputs. So you would say, I don't know, raise shields, and you would teach that piece of third-party software to interpret you saying raise shields as whatever the keyboard input for raise shields would be on your keyboard, you know? So all it really is just interpreting what you're saying is keyboard and mouse inputs. And this is like early 2000s voice command technology, so it's not very good. It makes a lot of mistakes. Luckily, voice activation technology has gotten a lot better in the 20 or so years since this game came out. So you can install like a newer piece of software now. Luckily, because this game does work on Windows 10, you can get this game up and running on Windows 10, which is cool. And if you hook it up to a more modern piece of, voice activation technology, it's a lot more accurate, it's a lot better at interpreting what it is you're trying to say. And you can have a much better time with it now using voice commands than you could back then. But this game is super cool for the Star Trek fans back then, and for me now. I still occasionally, once every couple years or so, install Bridge Commander and fuck about with it for a couple of evenings. So I'm going to say Star Trek Bridge Commander. And let's get rid of the numbers, because otherwise it'll try and add them to the spreadsheet. Star Trek Bridge Commander is better than C12. I like it more than Mafia. Again, not as good as Soul Reaver 2, so we're going to insert it there between Mafia and Soul Reaver 2. Next game. Wish there was a faster way to swap out the images and having to go like 3 menus deep. Okay. Sonic Advance 2 for the Game Boy Advance. A game of which I still have my copy right here. This is my favourite of the Sonic Advance trilogy. I find 1 to be a little basic. It's fine, it's a good game, but it's a little basic, and I don't like 3 at all. I think Sonic Advance 3 is a misstep. Sonic Advance 2, genuinely very good Sonic game. Honestly, one of the better 2D Sonic games ever made. Great soundtrack, feels good to play, solid in every way. I would put it... So far, everything's just going between C12 and Soul Reaver 2, so we're just going to, again... Actually, would I? No, it's going between Star Trek Bridge Commander and Soul Reaver 2. Tell you what, let's just drag this down. Let's give proper numbers. Okay. Next game. Space Channel 5 Part 2. Oh, hang on. Again, got to change the box art. I'm already losing... There we go. Space Channel 5 Part 2 for the Dreamcast and PS2. Only the PS2 version made it west. This game is incredible. I love Space Channel 5 Part 2. It is one of my favourite rhythm games of all time. It is a much better game than the first Space Channel 5. I think personally the soundtrack of Part 2 is a much better soundtrack to Part 1. And also Part 2 is just more fun to play. It's a lot more forgiving. Part 1 is original Space Channel 5 is a very harsh game in terms of the input timing Like, the input timing for the original Space Channel 5 is like 1/10 of a second, whereas Space Channel 5 Part 2, they expanded the input windows to like 3/10 of a second, so it's a little bit more forgiving than the first game. So it's a lot more of an enjoyable experience, you know, for more casual players. I love Space Channel 5 Part 2. I would personally put Space Channel 5 Part 2 above Soul Reaver 2. I like it more than Paper Mario. It's a better game than Worms World Party. It's better than Virtua Tennis 2. It's better than Black and White. It's not as good as Ikaruga, so it's going between Black and White and Ikaruga. There we go. I have a footage of a full playthrough of Space Channel 5 Part 2 on my channel. The game is just glorious and incredibly charming, and you should check it out. You can buy it for not very much money on Steam. They put out a PC port several years ago that is actually it's not perfect. It's not a perfect PC port, but it works, which is all it needs to do. Okay. Next game, the Resident Evil 1 remake. I recently put out a time of me recording this. I recently put out a ranking of Saturn video where we played the original Resident Evil 1 for the Sega Saturn, and I mentioned that Resident Evil 1, the original OG version of Resident Evil 1, is my favourite Resident Evil game. Still, to this day, it's the one I like the most. And the remake for the GameCube is incredible. It's an all-time great... It is one of history's great remakes. It is still to this day a textbook example of how to correctly remake a beloved classic game. And it is very good. It's a lot scarier than the original Resident Evil. The original OG Resident Evil is kind of goofy, and not actually that scary unless like you're a very young child, like I was when I first encountered it. But the remake is a lot more. They really make this. This is a true horror game. So, where are we going to put it? I would say the Resident Evil 1 remake goes above Ikaruga. It goes above Luigi's Mansion. But it's not as good as Rez. There we go. It's currently our new number 14. Okay. Alright, next game is the original Ratchet and Clank. I actually have a copy of Ratchet and Clank 1 somewhere around here, but I couldn't find it before starting this stream, so I don't have my copy here with me, but I do have one somewhere. This is a game I came to years later. I think I finally picked up a copy of the original trilogy, Ratchet and Clank trilogy for PS2, about 10 years ago, and played through them, and these games are really fucking good. I missed out on them at the time because I didn't have a PS2 until like 2007, 2008. I got a PS2 real fucking late. We'll find out why later as we get deeper down here. But yeah, I didn't get a PS2 until like 2008, and I didn't buy the Ratchet and Clank games till like 10 years ago. But these games are fucking excellent. They're very, very, very good. and I totally understand why people like them so much. Where are we going to put Ratchet and Clank 1? Well, Ratchet and Clank 1 is not as good as Res. But I would say I like it more than the Resident Evil 1 remake. So we're going to put it here. Come on now. There we go. Alright, moving ahead. Next game is going to be Jet Set Radio Future for the Xbox. This is a game I initially did not like very much. When I first played Jet Set Radio Future, I thought it was a very, very inferior game to the first Jet Set Radio. It's not as colourful as the original Jet Set Radio. I don't like the soundtrack as much as the original Jet Set Radio. The one improvement that I acknowledged at the time was that the game was a lot more forgiving in terms of time limits. Jet Set Radio 1, you have a fat time limit on the top of the screen the whole time you're playing, which puts a lot of pressure on you to do what you need to do. Whereas Jet Set Radio Future doesn't make use of time limits quite as much as the first game does. Also, Jet Set Radio Future has just better controls than Jet Set Radio 1. It's a lot easier to maneuver and perform tricks in Future than it is in the original Jet Set Radio, which is also another point in its favour at the time when I first played it. But yeah, I found the game primarily like, I don't know, I just thought it was kind of, at the time when I first played it, I thought it was ugly because it relies a lot more on like blues and greens and like than the first game. The first game is like incredibly colourful, like you know, blues, greens, reds, yellows, purples, pinks, everything, every shade of the rainbow in bright, searing, eye-searing colours on screen, whereas Future is a lot more, like I said, a lot more green and blue with like very little of any other colour, and I didn't appreciate that at the time, but going back to it years later, I realised that this game has its own specific style. It doesn't, you know, and it's actually really cool. I wish Sega would just put this game out on PC, do an HD remaster at some point. And I don't know why they haven't. This game is still to this day trapped on the original Xbox, unless you're willing to jump through the hoops to emulate an original Xbox, which is not as easy as you might think. Emulating an original Xbox is a hassle. And so I don't do it if I can help it, but this game is really cool and deserves an HD remaster, and it pisses me off that Sega haven't done it yet. I would say Jet Set Radio Future is a better game than Ratchet and Clank, and it's better than Res, but it's not as good as Sonic Adventure 2. So, whoops, not there. We're going to stick it here. It's going to be our new number 13. So Jet Set Radio, there we go. Jet Set Radio Future, rather. Okay, next game. Or games, rather, in this case, because we're talking about the third generation Pokemon games. We're talking about Ruby and Sapphire, which I still have my original copies of Ruby and Sapphire. I keep them safe and clean. These are my original copies from 2002. This was the last generation of Pokemon I cared about. After Ruby and Sapphire, I kind of stopped giving a shit about new Pokemon generations. But I thought this, like, Gen 3 was quite good at the time. I would say Ruby Sapphire is better than Jet Set Radio Future, but not as good as Sonic Adventure 2. So we're going to put that there. It's our new number 13. Okay. Next game, we have Medieval Total War, which was the second Total War game and sequel to Shogun Total War, which came out in 1999. Do I have a copy of Medieval Total War here? No, I don't. I do have a copy somewhere, but I couldn't find it. Oh, no, I do have it. I have a copy of the PC Gamer re-release, Gold Edition, which comes with the Viking Invasion expansion. This was my first Total War game. I kind of skipped over Shogun. I would play Shogun later, after the original Medieval, but this was the first Medieval game that I played chronologically. And this game's sick. This is the game that introduced me to the Total War franchise, a series that I was a big fan of for several years, before eventually falling off sometime after Medieval 2, which would have been in the late 2000s, I think. Medieval Total War, I would say I like it more than Pokemon Ruby Sapphire. I like it more than Sonic Adventure 2. I do not like it as much as Capcom vs SNK 2, so we're going to stick that there. Medieval Total War 1 is our new number 12. Okay. Next game is... Where are you? Where's the box art? Uh-oh. Did I not get box art for this one? I swear I did. Oh, there it is. I found it. There it is. Virtua Fighter 4. Virtua Fighter 4 is a fantastic 3D fighting game. It is the true successor to Virtua Fighter 2. Those who have heard me talk about the Virtua Fighter series before know that I am not a fan of Virtua Fighter 3, like not at all. I think Virtua Fighter 3 is kind of a bad game. I think Virtua Fighter 2 is a better game than Virtua Fighter 3, and so Virtua Fighter 4 was basically a return to form for me. Like, this is a much better game than 3. It's even better than 2. And I did not play Virtua Fighter 4 for several years for several years after it came out. But because again, I didn't have a PS2, so I missed out on a lot of PS2 games when they were coming out. But I eventually did play this years after and found it to be very, very fucking good. Virtua Fighter 4. Excellent 3D fighting game. One of my favourite of this generation of hardware. I would say Virtua Fighter 4 is a better game than Medieval Total War. I think it's better than Capcom vs SNK 2. I do not think it's better than Rogue Squadron 2, so we're going to stick it here. It's going to be our new number 11. Also, what the fuck is this song? There we go. It's a song from Galaxy Fight, I think. Okay. Great fighting game. Okay, next game that we're going to rank is a racing game from 2002. And it is, if I can find it, Burnout 2 by Criterion. Hang on. I'm going to turn off my heater. I have a copy of Burnout 2 here. At least I should do. Where is it? I thought... Okay, it's over here. Hang on. There we go. There it is. It's my original copy of Burnout 2. This game fucking slaps. This is still my personal favourite Burnout game. This game is a fantastic racing game, especially on the GameCube. It looked great for the time, controlled great for the time, had an incredible sense of style. Overall, one of my favourite racing games, again, of this entire generation of hardware. Burnout 2 is sick. I would say Burnout 2 is better than Virtua Fighter 4. It's better than Rogue Squadron 2, but not as good as Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. Okay, Burnout 2 Point of Impact by Criterion. Okay, next game. Panzer Dragoon Auto. Let me just bring up the box art. There it is. Panzer Dragoon Auto for the original Xbox. Again, this game's case is mostly green, so it's being absolutely destroyed by the color key, which is very funny. This game's very much like Jet Set Radio Future. This game is still, to this day, trapped on the original Xbox. This is a game that is absolutely crying out for an HD remaster. It is maybe the only reason I still have an original Xbox in my collection, is so I can occasionally play Panzer Dragoon Auto. This game is really fucking good. And it's a crime that it's not. It's difficult to play. It is one of the better Panzer Dragoon games. It is in desperate need for a re-release or a remaster. So I would put it above Burnout 2, but below Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. Okay. As our new number 10. Next game. Going back to the Game Boy Advance. Super Mario Advance 3 Yoshi's Island, which I still have my copy of right here. Funny story about this game. I played this game so much that I would basically keep the game on me wherever I went. and one point I accidentally left it in my trouser pocket, and those trousers went into the wash, and as a result the sticker on the front of the cartridge got completely annihilated by the washing machine, and so I had to draw the name of the game on the front of the cartridge after that happened. And that's what that is. That's me after I found my game in my freshly washed trousers with the sticker completely destroyed. Like, oh shit, that sucks. Better write the name on this cartridge so I know what it is in future. So yeah. Little personal story there. The packaging and the manual is in excellent condition. It's just the cartridge itself that looks like shit. I played the fuck out of this. This was probably my most... it was probably my second most played Game Boy Advance game after Advance Wars 2. Because Yoshi's Island is sick. It is a fantastic Super Nintendo game, and it is a fantastic Game Boy Advance game. It's better than Panzer Dragoon Orta. I would say it's a better game than Pro Skater 3, for me personally. I like it more than Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I like it more than Star Trek Armada 2. I like it more than Max Payne 1. And I love Max Payne 1. I like it more than Silent Hill 2. It's not as good as the original Advance Wars, so it goes between Silent Hill 2 and Advance Wars. Remember, this list is subjective. This is my personal ranking for my favourite games, so if me putting this game above Silent Hill personally offends you, oh dear. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Okay. Next game. Metroid Prime 1. I have my copy of Metroid Prime 1 right here. This game is incredible. It is still, I think it's still to this day, the best. Is it? Wait, Is it? I don't know. Depending on what day you ask me, I might say Prime 3 is the best Prime game, or Prime 1. 1 and 3 are really close. In my head, it goes... More often than not, the ranking would go Prime 3, Prime 1, Prime 2, then Prime 4. I finished playing Prime 4 the other day. That game is a bummer. Retro Prime 4 is, boy, disappointment. But we're not talking about Prime 4, we're talking about Prime 1, which is excellent. An excellent, excellent game. I like it more than Yoshi's Island, but I do not like it as much as Advance Wars, so it's going between Yoshi's Island and Advance Wars. Okay, next game. Soul Calibur 2, specifically the GameCube version, which is usually considered by most people to be the best version of the game. Soul Calibur 2 is an incredible 3D fighting game. It is better than the first game, which was already fucking amazing. Soul Calibur 2 is one of the best 3D fighting games of this generation of hardware. I have my copy right here. I 100%ed this game. I unlocked everything there was to unlock. I spent probably about 100 hours on this game. Which is no small feat, unlocking everything. Soul Calibur 2 is amazing. The GameCube version had Link as an unlockable, as a playable character. The PS2 version had Hayachi from Tekken, and the Xbox version had Spawn. You know, the comic book character, Spawn. Probably the worst of the three characters. I would say Soul Calibur 2 is a better game than Metroid Prime 1. But not as good as Advance Wars, so it goes between Metroid Prime and Advance Wars. Okay. Next game. Time Splitters 2. I have my original copy here. Time Splitters 2 is a first-person shooter from the creators of GoldenEye and Perfect Dark on the N64. It's created by a company called Free Radical, which was founded by ex-Rare developers. And it really shows. This game is GoldenEye in a different skin. It looks like GoldenEye, it feels like GoldenEye. It has that GoldenEye feel to it, which is very important. And it is it's a fantastic multiplayer game, both co-op and versus. This game is a split-screen all-timer. This game has a map editor, so you can create your own multiplayer maps if you want to, which was incredible. It really extended the lifespan of this game at the time. Unfortunately, my disc has seen better days. This was a very heavily used disc, so it was in and out of the console constantly, so as a result it's got a few scratches on it, but the case is still in pretty good condition. Time Splitters 2, I would say, is, for me personally, better than Soul Calibur 2. It's better than Advance Wars 1, but not as good as Halo. Okay. Next game. Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast. I do not have my physical copy of Jedi Outcast anymore. I traded that in years ago. But this game was incredible for its time. It was the first game to really make you feel like a Jedi. It made, for the time, it had excellent lightsaber mechanics. Really, really excellent lightsaber mechanics. In a way that looked and felt really cool. Technically, this is a first-person shooter, but it had a third-person camera mode, and more often than not, most people would just play this game in third person. What was really cool is there was a cheat, because if you played the game normally without cheats, the lightsaber would like hit enemies, and whatever, the lightsaber wouldn't actually do any physical damage to the enemy. Like character models, they would just take damage and then fall over dead. Whereas there was a special cheat you could input if you unlocked the developer console, where the lightsaber would kill things in one hit and dismember bodies. Which I'm going to say most people, at least I think it's only the PC version, the console versions didn't have that, but the PC version had the quote-unquote realistic lightsaber mode, which I'm going to say most people who had the PC version played through the game with that turned on, because why wouldn't you? There was a drawback to it though, so there were enemies in the game you would fight Sith in the game, and the realistic lightsaber mode applied to you as well. So if you took one hit from an enemy's lightsaber, you would die in one hit. So it worked both ways. This game also had a really, really fun multiplayer mode on PC as well. So I would say Jedi Outcast is a better game than Time Splitters 2, but not as good as Halo Combat Evolved. I would put it here. So currently our new number 4. And then it brings to our next game. Where is it? Animal Crossing for the GameCube. Do I have my copy of Animal Crossing? Huh. I thought I had my copy of Animal Crossing, but I guess I forgot to bring it out. Oh well. Animal Crossing is a game that technically didn't reach Europe till 2003, but it came out in Japan and America in 2002. It's a shame. I could have sworn I had my copy with me, but I guess not. Oh well. There's nothing I can really say about Animal Crossing that people don't already know. This game was incredible for its time, and I think still remains my personal favourite Animal Crossing. I think Animal Crossing, it has that weird rule to it where your first Animal Crossing will always be your favourite Animal Crossing no matter what, and as a result, it's the first one for N64 and GameCube. Yeah, because the GameCube Animal Crossing is just a port of the N64 version, just with more content added in. I would put the original Animal Crossing above Jedi Knight 2, but below Halo. Can't quite break through the Halo barrier. Okay. Next game. This is going to be a divisive one, because this game has kind of... average opinions of this game have kind of gone down over the years since it came out. Super Mario Sunshine. I have my original copy of Super Mario Sunshine. This game is... It's heavily flawed. It's got some questionable level design. And some of the goals they need you to achieve in this game are not intuitive. But I fucking love me some Super Mario Sunshine. This game is a flawed gem in my opinion. It is probably one of the worst mainline Mario platformers, but it is still extremely fucking cool in ways that are important to me. So I still like you, Super Mario Sunshine, despite what everyone else says. I would say Super Mario Sunshine is better than the original Animal Crossing, but not as good as Halo. Why did it do that? There we go. So our new number 4. Okay, only got 3 games left in 2002. Next game is Hitman 2. Hitman 2 Silent Assassin is the original amazing Hitman game. This game was, I think, PC Gamer gave it Game of the Year in 2002. I had the PC version. This game also came to consoles at some point, but the console versions are not the versions you want to play. The original PC version is the one you play. Hitman 2 is incredible for its time. Hitman 2 was so cool. I don't know, like it is. The Hitman games have actually not changed very much in like 20 years. They get better, but ultimately they're still very much the same game. They're very much the exact same game since Hitman 2. It's just as newer games came out, the graphics got better, and there have been like, you know, slight quality of life improvements as the sequels came out. But ultimately, the most recent Hitman game, at its core, still plays very much like Hitman 2. These games have kind of always been awesome. Hitman 2 to me is better than Mario Sunshine. It's better than Halo 1, but not as good as Super Smash Bros. Melee. So Hitman 2 is currently our number 3. Okay, next game is... Tell you what have I just... Hang on. MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries. This is an obscure one. I'm going to hide the word pad because I think it's more fun if people don't already know what's coming up. MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries remains to this day my favourite MechWarrior game. I have my original copy. Wait, MechWarrior 2002? It is 2002. Okay. For some reason, I thought this game was like a little bit newer than that. I thought it was like a 2003 or 2004 release, but no, it is 2002. This game's amazing. For me, this is comfort food. And amazingly enough, this game works perfectly well on Windows 10. You can get this game running just fine on Windows 10. I love me some MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries. I would say MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries is a better game than Hitman 2, but not quite as good as Super Smash Bros. Melee. Okay. Next game. Last game of 2002. And it needs no introduction. I am, of course, talking about The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. I still have my original copy that I pre-ordered. Comes in a gold-coloured case. And of course, this is the version that comes with the included copy of Ocarina of Time and Ocarina of Time Master Quest. Which are the versions, which are how I played through Ocarina of Time all the way through for the very first time. What can I say? What an incredible package of software this is. Wind Waker is fucking amazing. Wind Waker is still, to this day, one of the best Zelda games ever made. It is probably, in my internal ranking, probably the second best Zelda game, still to this day. It is fucking incredible. It is... stylistically, the best looking Zelda game still to this day, and it is one of the all-time best GameCube games ever. It is fucking incredible. And if you pre-ordered it, you got a free copy of Ocarina of Time as well. What an incredible package. I would say The Wind Waker is a better game than MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries. It's a better game than Super Smash Bros. Melee. But it's not as good as Metal Gear Solid 2. So there we go. We finished off 2002. Okay. So far, so good. This looks pretty good to me. 43 games on the list. Let's go to 2003. Okay. Starting with 2003 off with an obscure one. If I can find the box art, hang on. There it is. It's a obscure little strategy game for the PC. Rise of Nations. Rise of Nations is really cool because it's not a pure RTS. It's also a map game. So in the campaign mode of Rise of Nations, the game takes place on two screens. So you've got the main world map screen, which is like you're playing a game of Risk. You're moving troops from like regions of the world to the other regions of the world, and enemy factions are also moving their troops from region to region. And then when two opposing factions combine their if an opposing faction tries to take over a region of the world which already has forces on it, the game will then switch to a more traditional RTS view, where again you've got to build a base, build units, try and take over your opponent's base. But the RTS portion of the game is timed. I want to say you have like 30 minutes. You have like half an hour to try and destroy your opponent's base before the time runs out. And if you fail to do that in 30 minutes, the battle ends as a stalemate. And the invader does not succeed in taking over that portion of the world map back on the Risk style strategy screen. It's a really interesting take on RTS that I think deserves another look. It's really interesting. I have not played Rise of Nations in some time. I want to say it's been over a decade since I last played this game, but I have very, very fond memories of it. I would say Rise of Nations is a better game than C12. I would say it's better than Mafia. But I don't like it as much as Bridge Commander, so it's going between Mafia and Bridge Commander. Here we go. Rise of Nations by Big Huge Games. Okay, next game from 2003 is a favourite among many. It's the Suda51 masterpiece, Beautiful Joe. Do I have my copy of... I do. Hang on. I need to organise my shit better. Let me just get this out the way. I have my copy of Beautiful Joe right here. Beautiful Joe is a really, really cool beat 'em up that makes use of time manipulation powers. You can speed up time, you can slow down time, or you can even reverse time. It's very, very stylish, very inventive beat 'em up game from Suda 50. Was it Suda 51? I forget. Hideki Kamiya, hang on. I forget, there are so many people who used to work for Capcom. Hang on, I'm going to look this up now. Who fucking made... It might have been Hideki Kamiya. It might not have been Suda 51. Hang on. Oh my god. Might have been Hideki Kamiya, not Suda 51. Shit. Hang on. Just try Moby Games very quickly. I want to make sure I get this right. Beautiful Joe. Credits. Hideki Kamiya. It's Hideki Kamiya. Hideki Kamiya directed this game, so it's from the creator who would later go on to make games like Bayonetta and Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. This game is sick. You'll notice that the cover art up there on the screen does not match my cover art. That cover art is like yellow and orange, whereas this is all pink. There are two variations of the cover art that came out in Europe. One yellow and orange, one completely pink. Mine is completely pink. Beautiful Joe is very good, but I don't know how high it's going to go. I like it more than Rise of Nations, but I don't like it as much as Star Trek Bridge Commander, so it's going between Rise of Nations and Bridge Commander. There we go. Okay, next game. This is an obscure one. I wouldn't be surprised if not many people have heard of this one, but I had this and I fucking loved it. It's an obscure little arena fighter for the GameCube from Capcom called Gotcha Force. I no longer have my copy of Gotcha Force. I sold it several years ago, and I kind of wish I didn't, because trying to get hold of a copy of Gotcha Force now is very hard. Copies of this game are very expensive on eBay. This game is sick. It's an arena fighter, like a Virtual-On style game, but it's toys. It's like, what if you took Virtual-On, Cyber Troopers Virtual-On, and Toy Story, and you just kind of merged them. And it's really fucking good. I want to say it's based on a very, very, very short-lived anime in Japan that never left Japan, that had like a single season and never got renewed. But the game that's based on it is incredible. Yeah, Gotcha Force was really cool. If you get a chance to play Gotcha Force, you should. It's a really, really good, like colourful, like cartoony style, like anime style arena fighter. And of course, all the fighters are toys, so all of the arenas are like giant versions of real world locations, like a kitchen or a living room or a playground. But like, you're very small, you're a toy, so it's really, really makes very fun, creative use of environments like that. So Gotcha Force, I think, is better than Beautiful Joe. It's better than Bridge Commander. I don't think it's as good as Sonic Advance 2. So our new number 41. Okay. Next game. Do I have it here? I should have done a better job of organising my physical copies before starting this, but oh well. It's a snowboarding game from Nintendo. It is 1080 Avalanche for the GameCube. I swear I've got my copy here somewhere. There it is. I have my original copy of 1080 Avalanche. This game is fucking sick. It is one of the best snowboarding games I've ever played, and personally, I think it's a massive improvement over the N64 original. I know that there are people who hate this game because of how different it is to the original game. But personally, I never really liked the original N64 game. I thought the original N64 game was slow and awkward and hard to control. Avalanche solves all of those problems. Avalanche is it's a much faster game. It's a much easier to control game. It's a much more stylish game. For those of you who don't know, the 1080 games take place in the same universe as the Wave Race games, so sometimes characters from Wave Race will show up in the 1080 games. That very, very short-lived like Nintendo Extreme Sports universe that doesn't seem to exist anymore. Yeah, 1080 Avalanche is a really, really, really cool game that looked really great at the time as well. It was just a really, really slick looking game. I think 1080 Avalanche is a better game than Gotcha Force. It's better than Sonic Advance 2. It's not as good as Soul Reaver 2. For me, personally. So it's our new number 40. Okay. Next game. Tony Hawk's Underground, of which I have a copy right here. This was the last Tony Hawk's game that I really got into. I didn't really like 4, and I didn't play Underground 2, and I never really played any of the games after Underground 2 either. This was kind of the last time I got like really into a Tony Hawk game. And this was the Tony Hawk game that let you get off the board. It had much larger environments than any Tony Hawk game before it. And you could get off the skateboard and run over to wherever you wanted to start your trick combo. Because I don't know if you realize, but trying to very carefully make your way to a spot in previous Tony Hawk games when you couldn't get off the board was kind of annoying. So being able to just get off the board and run was kind of a big deal for me personally at the time. It's like, oh my god, I can actually get to the place I want to get to without worrying, about rolling off the edge of something because I'm stuck to the skateboard. Oh my god. I like this game a lot. It is nowhere near as good as Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. Which for me puts it somewhere between here. I like it more than the original Paper Mario. I like it more than Worms World Party. I do not like it as much as Virtua Tennis 2. So I'm going to stick Tony Hawk's Underground here. It's our new number 37. Okay. Hang on. Okay, I have the next one here. Next game is the original Call of Duty, of which I thought I had my physical copy here somewhere. But again, I seem to have lost track of where I've put it, and I'm not going to go and look for it. I do still have my original copy of the original Call of Duty. This game was really cool when it came out. This original game was a PC exclusive, and it was basically somebody watched like Saving Private Ryan and Band of Brothers and thought, can we make that a video game? Because this game is just full, and I mean full, of direct references to things that happen in Saving Private Ryan and Band of Brothers. Also, Enemy at the Gates. There's a part in this game that is just ripped directly out of Enemy at the Gates. I would say this game is less of a realistic depiction of World War II and more of a a game made by people who are really, really, really big fans of World War II movies and TV shows. It's hard to go back to this game because, you know, first-person shooters have just come so far since 2003. The Call of Duty franchise especially has come a very long way since 2003, but this game I'm still very, very fond of the original Call of Duty. I would say it's better than Tony Hawk Underground, but not as good as Virtua Tennis 2. There we go. It's our new number 37. Okay, next game is Beyond Good and Evil, which, again, I swear I had a copy of somewhere, but I am unable to locate at this time. Beyond Good and Evil is a fantastic action-adventure game from Rayman creator Michel Ancel, when he still worked at Ubisoft. This game was originally pitched to Nintendo as a first-party, like, published game. Like, what I mean is, like, I guess you would call it. Some people call it second-party, even though that's not really the correct term for it. Basically, Michel Ancel, the idea was Ubisoft would make the game, and then basically Nintendo would publish it as a first-party release. That was the original idea behind this, but Nintendo turned them down, I believe. I want to say, like, people from Nintendo straight up told him they didn't think his game was very good. Which horrified him, I think, at the time. But then Ubisoft ended up putting it out themselves, and the rest is history. This is an extremely well-liked game. People fucking love this game. Beyond Good and Evil is a all-time classic for a reason. It is a fucking excellent, like, action-adventure game. Like, cyberpunk, I guess you would call it. It's like a mystery game. You're trying to uncover a conspiracy. Your government is up to no good, and you're trying to figure out, like, what the truth is. It's a really cool game. I like quite a bit. I don't think I like it quite as much as some people. Some people think this game is like an amazing all-time 10 out of 10 thing. I think it's more of like it's like a 7 out of 10. which is still good, don't get me wrong. I just don't like this game quite as much as some people do. I would say it's better than Call of Duty. It's better than Virtua Tennis 2. I don't like it as much as Black and White, so it goes between Virtua Tennis 2 and Black and White as our new number 36. Okay, next game. WarioWare Inc. Mega Party Games for the GameCube, which I do have my physical copy here still. And it's basically transparent because the color key has decided that yellow is now green, and so has completely removed most of this cover from view, but that's what it looks like. WarioWare Inc. Mega Party Games for the GameCube is really just the Game Boy Advance WarioWare game, but with a bunch more like stuff added onto it, primarily in the form of multiplayer modes. This game has some incredible multiplayer modes. This is one of my favorite multiplayer games from this era. It is great fun. It is an excellent multiplayer game for the GameCube. I have played many, many hours of multiplayer of WarioWare, and I would say WarioWare, for me personally, WarioWare, I like it more than Beyond Good and Evil. I like it more than Black and White. I do not like it as much as Space Channel 5. Okay. So I knew number 35. Okay, next game. Ratchet & Clank 2. Like Ratchet & Clank 1, I came to Ratchet & Clank 2 like many years after this game came out. Again, I think I bought the entire trilogy of the first 3 Ratchet & Clank games for PS2 like 10 years ago. So I only played through this game for the first time 10 years ago, and this game's fucking sick. It's everything that's good about the original Ratchet & Clank, but even better. Ratchet & Clank is an excellent PS2 game. It easily beats the first Ratchet & Clank. I think it's a better game. Is it a better game than Rez, though? Yes, it is. I'm also going to say it's better than Jet Set Radio Future. I'm also going to say it's better than Pokemon Ruby. I'm also going to say it's a better game than Sonic Adventure 2. Yes, it is. So that goes here. It's our new number 26 between Sonic Adventure 2 and Medieval Total War. Okay, next game from 2003 is Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. I no longer have my copy of Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. I sold off most of my Game Boy Advance library like 15 years ago. I had a very large collection of Game Boy Advance games. Most of them were like in perfect condition, and I sold off most of that stuff. And I miss Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. Luckily, this is a game that's easy to emulate, so if I want my Tactics Advance fix, I can get it that way. Tactics Advance is the, I guess, I never knew, but Tactics Advance is the spiritual successor to Tactics Ogre, which was a Super Nintendo game. Tactics Advance is not a direct sequel to original Final Fantasy Tactics. There are similarities between Tactics Advance and Final Fantasy Tactics for the PlayStation 1. They are both isometric, grid-based, turn-based strategy games that have Final Fantasy written on the box, but in terms of it, like their battle systems, Tactics Advance has way more in common with Tactics Ogre. So much more in common with Tactics Ogre, because they're made by the same guy. And so when I, years and years later, played Tactics Ogre for the first time, I think I bought it for the Switch, I was incredibly surprised to find just how similar that game was to Tactics Advance. This game is excellent. It's a really, 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 really good turn-based RPG. I like it more than Ratchet & Clank 2. I like it more than Medieval Total War. It is a better game than Capcom vs. SNK. It is a better game than Virtua Fighter 4. It is a better game than Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2. I like it more than Burnout 2. It's better than Panzer Dragoon Orta. It is not as good as Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, so that's where it's going to go. It's our new number 20, Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. Alright, next game from 2003 is if I can find it. Where are you? Uh-oh. Where are you? Ah, here it is. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Raven Shield. Oh, sorry, Rainbow Six 3 Raven Shield, which I still have my original copy of. The Tom Clancy franchise has fallen on hard times lately. There was this period of time between, I would say, 2003 and 2010, where the Tom Clancy franchise was amazing. Almost everything put out under that brand name was excellent. Like, Ubisoft were on a roll with the Tom Clancy games. Almost every Tom Clancy game between 2003 and 2010 is excellent. And then after 2010, it felt like they just couldn't get, I don't know, they just didn't have the magic anymore. So the Rainbow Six franchise is a first-person shooter franchise that is also a strategy game. The idea is you are outfitting a squad of elite soldiers who have to infiltrate enemy strongholds, and you are telling them what exact route they need to take, what equipment they need, whether or not they need to breach doors. And so you can either have direct control over a member of that squad, or you can have like a command position where you can basically see the map ahead of you and be like, okay, I want them to go down this corridor. Okay, there's a guy behind this door. We need to set a breach charge and clear the room, you know, because this is very much a simulator. Your guys go down very quickly. It takes like 1 or 2 bullets to kill one of your squad members. It's more strategy than shooter, and it is incredibly cool. There's nothing feels quite as satisfying as getting your squad of dudes through an enemy controlled like building and clearing out the rooms, you know, systematically clearing out the complex without taking a single loss. It feels great when you manage that. It is such a cool concept for a game that I wish they still made like the hardcore Rainbow Six games, because like a lot of game franchises, it got consoleized to hell and back, and this is a mouse and keyboard game. Whereas I believe the Rainbow Six games that came out after this were very more like traditional console first-person shooters. There was still a strategy element, but they were dumbed down in a way that I just wasn't. I don't really like any of the Rainbow Six games that came out after the PC release of Rainbow Six 3. There's an Xbox version of Rainbow Six 3 that like again is very dumbed down and not the same game. PC Rainbow Six 3 is kind of the last Rainbow Six game that I personally liked. Not to say that the Rainbow Six that came out on the original Xbox and the Rainbow Six, is it Rainbow Six Vegas that came out for the 360? Like, those games are really good in their own way, but they're not the Rainbow Six experience that I want. My preferred Rainbow Six experience is very much a mouse and keyboard experience, you know, that can't really be replicated with a controller. But that's just me. I would say Rainbow Six 3 Raven Shield for the PC is a better game than... is it? Yes, it is. I like it more than Pro Skater 3. I like it more than Marvel vs. Capcom 2. But I don't like it as much as Star Trek Armada 2, so it goes here. It is our new number 18. Okay. Our next 2003 game is Project 02 Crimson Butterfly, known in North America as Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly. This is an all-time great PlayStation 2 horror game that also came out for the Xbox. I believe when I first played it, I played the Xbox version, because a friend of mine, I believe, had this for Xbox, and I borrowed it from them for about a week. And this game's fucking sick. This game is very, very, very good at atmosphere. The old Project Zero games have incredible atmosphere to them. They are very, very creepy games, and one of the very, very few horror games I've ever played to actually scare the shit out of me. It's an excellent game. I believe they're remaking it now. Koei Tecmo is working on a full remake of Project 02, which is very interesting. I hope they don't screw it up. Project 02 is a better game than Star Trek Armada 2. I don't like it as much as Max Payne. So it's going here. So our new number 15. Okay, next 2003 game is Freedom Fighters, of which I think... Do I have a copy? I have a physical copy of the PC version of Freedom Fighters somewhere, but I don't have it with me right now, which is vexing. This is by IO Interactive, the creators of Hitman. And this game came out for PC, PS2, GameCube, and Xbox, and it is a very, very, very fun squad-based third-person shooter, where the concept is basically the Soviet Union has invaded North America. I think the game is set in the late 80s, I want to say. The Soviet Union invades North America, and you have to help build up a ragtag group of rebels to resist the Soviet invasion. And it is a very fun game. It's not a complicated game. It's not an especially well-written game, but the basic interaction, the shooting feels just good enough, but the fun comes from getting a big squad of guys and ordering them around and telling them to take over parts of the battlefield and do the fighting for you. It's a great game. Freedom Fighters is a great game. I believe you can get it on GOG, I believe. GOG has Freedom Fighters. I recommend playing Freedom Fighters. It's such a good game. Oh! I like Freedom Fighters more than Project 02. I do not like it as much as Max Payne. So it goes here. So our new number 17. I have a bottle of beer, or ginger beer right here that I haven't opened. And I'm going to rectify that situation because my throat is getting parched. Yes. Okay. Problem solved. Okay, going back to the Game Boy Advance. If I can find the box art. There it is. Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga for the Game Boy Advance is an incredible Game Boy Advance game. It is still one of the best Super Mario RPG games. It is incredibly funny. The pixel art is extremely well drawn. It has an interesting and funny story. This is an all-time great Game Boy Advance game. Unfortunately, I no longer have my copy of Superstar Saga because I sold it along with most of my Game Boy Advance collection years ago. But this game is fantastic. A great RPG. A great RPG. I like it more than Freedom Fighters. I don't like it as much as Max Payne. Max Payne is proving to be quite the barrier here. So, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga is our new number 17. Okay, what have we got? Okay, next game. I do have a physical copy of this next game somewhere, but I don't know where it is, so I was unable to get it for this video. There's a little space sim for the PC called Freelancer. I believe Freelancer is technically the follow-up to the game Starlancer. It takes place in the same universe as Starlancer. Hang on. Yeah. It is a chronological sequel to Starlancer. But it's a completely different... I mean, it's not a completely different genre of game. Starlancer was a more, like, traditional mission-to-mission based space sim, whereas Freelancer is it's a more open exploration space sim where you can take jobs at will and explore the galaxy and buy and sell cargo and take on pirates or become a pirate. Or it is an extremely good one of those. And getting this game up and running on modern operating systems is a little bit difficult, but there are fan patches out there that make it possible. It's not too difficult to get Freelancer running on a Windows 10 or Windows 11 operating system. If you're just the kind of person who just wants to like get in their spaceship and just fly to the far reaches of explorable space and do missions for random people and haul cargo and buy better ships and better guns for your ship and take on pirates, or maybe even, you know, engage in a little bit of piracy yourself, this is one of the all-time best games for that. It's such a cool fucking game. It's so cool. I love Freelancer. It's I love Freelancer. I like Freelancer more than Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. I don't like it as much as Max Payne. Again, Max Payne is a barrier right now. Did Chris Roberts work on this game? Yeah. So he was originally the director of Freelancer, but partway through development he left the project. So this is sort of a Chris Roberts game, but also sort of not really, because he was only in charge of it partway through development. Oh boy, if you don't know who Chris Roberts is, he's the guy responsible for Star Citizen. I'm not here to make a judgment of Star Citizen. I'm not here to make a judgment of the people who have given money to Star Citizen. All you need to know is that I have not given money to Star Citizen, nor will I ever give money to Star Citizen, because I don't want to do that. Again, I'm not here to pass judgment on the people who have. And their ability to, I don't know, sense a scam. That's on them. Go with whatever, you know, your personal feelings are on Star Citizen, I guess. Anyway, moving on. Let's not talk about Star Citizen, because I could talk for an hour about Star Citizen and how I feel about Star Citizen, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, next game from 2003. Tales of Symphonia from Namco. I have my original physical copy right here. I love me some original Tales of Symphonia. This game is fantastic. It is the only Tales game I like. I've tried other Tales games after this, and none of them have really hit the same way that the original Tales of Symphonia has. Extremely charming JRPG. A really interesting and fun combat system. And just a great art style. It's cel shaded, I believe, if I remember correctly. The original Tales of Symphonia is a cel shaded game. Yes. And it just visually really pops. It's a great looking game. The GameCube version of Tales of Symphonia is still the best way to play it, because that remaster they put out a year or two ago is locked to 30 frames a second, whereas the original GameCube version runs at 60. So the best way to play Tales of Symphonia remains the original version of the game, which is very funny. Tales of Symphonia is so good. Tales of Symphonia is, to me, a better game than Freelancer. It's better than Max Payne. I like it more than Silent Hill 2. I do not like it as much as Yoshi's Island for the Game Boy Advance, so it goes here. It's our new number 15. Okay, going back to the PC for our next game. Homeworld 2. I adore the Homeworld franchise. The Homeworld games, they're RTSs. They're basically hard sci-fi real-time strategy games by Relic. I adore the Homeworld games so much. Those first two Homeworld games are incredible. That first one, the first one especially, Homeworld 1 is stylistically everything I want from a sci-fi RTS. That is a game that it looks and sounds perfect. The way the ships are designed, the sound design of the Homeworld games is, let me just say, stylistically, aesthetically, the first two Homeworld games are fucking 10 out of 10 for me. They could not be improved stylistically, in terms of ship design, sound design, cutscene design, everything about the way those games look and sound and feel is perfect for the kind of setting that they're in. The part where I maybe have some issues with Homeworld is how hard those games are. Homeworld, the first two Homeworld games are incredibly difficult. You have to be extremely on top of keeping track of like what ships you're building, what ships you're sending into combat. You know, you need to keep a very important track of, like, okay, the enemy's coming, they're sending these ships, which means I need to send these ships. And because if you don't, a battle can just go against you so quickly. Also, one of the things about Homeworld that in the history, of Homeworld games is how the game handles resources. Resources are finite in Homeworld, and you begin, and also that they are what's the correct word for this? I don't know the correct word, but the resources you end a mission with are the exact same resources you begin the next mission with. So if you do badly in a mission and only just scrape by, and you basically spend all your money just scraping by, you're better off restarting the mission and trying to get a more favourable result than continuing into the next mission, because you're just going to give yourself a handicap in the next mission because you're not going to have as much money in ships heading into the next mission. Homeworld is one of those games where you really need to try and do, you need to make sure that you're running every mission as efficiently as possible, because otherwise you're just going to set yourself up for failure for the next mission. And that gets a little bit frustrating, but man, I forgive it because of how cool these games are to look at and to listen to. Homeworld 2 is a game to me that is better than Tales of Symphonia. I like it more than Yoshi's Island for the Game Boy Advance. I like Homeworld 2 more than Metroid Prime. But I don't like it as much as Soul Calibur 2. Okay. Next game. Going back to the consoles with another Ubisoft game, Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. I originally played through this game on the Xbox, and this game's sick. This game's great. Again, like the Ratchet and Clank trilogy, I bought the Prince of Persia trilogy for the Xbox when I eventually got my hands on an original Xbox, and I played through those games. Sands of Time is incredible. Sands of Time is a fantastically well-written game, and is a very, very nice aesthetic style to it. It is maybe not the best in terms of combat. The main issue people have with this game is the combat system is kind of shitty. It's not very good. The combat system would be massively improved in the second and third game, although I don't like the second and third game nearly as much, because those games would be worse in other ways. Sands of Time is, I think, personally, the best game of the original PS2 era trilogy in terms of aesthetic, in terms of art style and writing. This game is incredible. The two games that came after, they played better, but maybe the stories weren't nearly as good, and maybe the art style wasn't nearly as nice. For me, Sands of Time is still the best Prince of Persia game, by far. It's Sands of Time. Nothing comes close. I would say Sands of Time is better than Homeworld 2. I like it more than Soul Calibur 2, but I don't like it as much as Advance Wars 1. So it's our new number 12. Okay. Our next game. Going back to the PC, because that's where I played it. Max Payne 2, The Fall of Max Payne, is an incredible sequel to a fantastic game. I still have the original copy that I bought back in 2003. This game is excellent. This game is everything that was good about Max Payne 1 plus more. Max Payne 2 is a very special game. There are still things about Max Payne 1 that I like more than Max Payne 2, but I think overall Max Payne 2 is a much better game than Max Payne 1. I would say it's better than Sands of Time. It's better than Advance Wars 1. It's better than Time Splitters 2. I like it more than Jedi Knight 2. I like it more than Animal Crossing. I like it more than Super Mario Sunshine. I like it more than Halo 1. I do not like it as much as Hitman 2. So it's going here. It's our new number 4 for now. Max Payne 2, The Fall of Max Payne. We will be playing Max Payne 2 at some point this year. I plan to follow up my my Max Payne 1 Let's Play at some point with a Let's Play of Max Payne 2, and I've almost started it a couple of times last year, but I was so bogged down in other projects, I just couldn't find the time to do it. But we will be doing it this year. Exactly when this year, I do not know, but it will be this year, 100%. It might not be for a few months, but it will be this year. Okay, only 2 games left in 2003 now. Where is it? There it is. Advance Wars 2, Black Hole Rising. I still have my original copy of Advance Wars 2, Black Hole Rising. This game is amazing. I love me some Advance Wars 2. Advance Wars 2 is still the best Advance Wars game. If we were to rank the Advance Wars games, it would go Advance Wars 2, Advance Wars 1, Dual Strike, and then Dark Tomorrow, or whatever the fuck that second DS game was called. I do not like that second DS game. The grim, like the super grim dark one, I don't like that one at all. That's depending on when you ask me, I might swap Advance Wars 1 and Dual Strike, but Advance Wars 2 is always in my mind the best one in the franchise. This game is incredible. I've spent way too much time over the years playing me some Advance Wars 2. I've probably put well over 100 hours into this game. Advance Wars 2 is one of the best reasons to own a Game Boy Advance. I like it more than Max Payne 2. I like it more than Hitman 2. It's a better game than MechWarrior 4. I like Advance Wars 2 more than Super Smash Bros. Melee. I do not like it as much as Wind Waker. Oops. Oh, come on now. Why won't you paste? There we go. Advance Wars 2, Black Hole Rising. For the GBA. Okay, and we're down to our final game of 2003. Which is... Come on now. There it is. F-Zero GX for the GameCube, which I have my original copy right here. This is, hands down in my opinion, one of the best racing games of this era of hardware. It is hands down the best racing game on the GameCube. If you owned a GameCube, there were no better racing games than F-Zero GX. F-Zero GX is phenomenal. In my opinion, it is the best game that came out in 2003. I fucking love me some F-Zero GX. Some might say it is currently the best racing game currently available for the Switch 2. But you know, who can say? Who can really say? Because it's available on the GameCube stuff, like the Nintendo Online. Do they still call it Virtual Console? I don't know. Does Nintendo still call their old game releases like Virtual Console? I don't know. I haven't really kept up with it. But yeah, it's available for like that service on the Switch 2 if you want to. And if you do, best racing game on the platform. So this game is awesome. This game was made by Sega, by the way. It's a Nintendo franchise and it's published by Nintendo, but F-Zero GX, made by Sega. This is a joint project between Nintendo and Sega, and Sega knocked it out the fucking park. They made a fantastic F-Zero game. I like it more than Advance Wars 2. I don't like it as much as Wind Waker. So it goes there. There we go. So our new number 3. And that's it for 2003. 2003 is done. It's time to move on to 2004. I'm hoping to get... Oh man, we're past 2 hours, man, and we're only up to 2004. It's going a lot faster than part 1, but there's still a lot here, man. Jesus. Okay. I might pick up the pace a little bit for these next like dozen or so games. Okay. Our first game from 2004 is Prince of Persia: The Warrior Within, which is the direct sequel to The Sands of Time. I like Prince of Persia: Warrior Within. I do not think it is nearly as good as Sands of Time. Here's the thing about Warrior Within. It is a much better playing game than Sands of Time. So much better like combat system than Sands of Time. It is a much more fluid, more pleasing to use combat system, but everything about the art style and the story fucking sucks. Because where Sands of Time was very like light-hearted and like fairy tale-esque, also very colourful, it's very to use a modern term, it's very Disney coded. Sands of Time. It's got that very like classic Disney like animation like tone to it. Whereas with the sequel Warrior Within, Ubisoft went full grimdark and it fucking sucks. I despise the change in like art direction for the later Prince of Persia games. I still think they're good games, but man, the quality of the art style and the storytelling did so much for me in Sands of Time that they then just completely fucked that part up for the 2 games that came afterwards. Is such a sticking point with me. Even if those games do in fact play a lot better than Sands of Time, I will never forgive Ubisoft for what they did. Also, for some reason, they completely switched up the voice actors for the later games. The prince is voiced by a... Well, the prince has an English accent in Sands of Time, whereas they gave him a more traditional American accent in Warrior Within, which was very jarring, extremely jarring. It's meant to be the same character, but now he has a completely different voice. It was very jarring to me at the time. Warrior Within is a very good game. I just don't like the art style, like, at all. So it's like... It is nowhere near as good as Sands of Time. I don't like it. I would put it around Beyond Good and Evil. Like, it's better than it's better than Virtua Tennis 2, but not as good as Beyond Good and Evil. It's going here. Prince of Persia: The Warrior Within. For PS2, GameCube, Xbox, and PC. Okay, next game from 2004 is one you might, some people might not expect this one, but get ready. It's Blood Rain 2. Blood Rain 2 is a delightful little third-person action game that is far superior to the first Blood Rain. The first Blood Rain is an intensely mediocre third-person action game where you play as a vampire lady and you are fighting Nazis. Blood Rain 2 is a much better game. They have a lot more fun with it in Blood Rain 2. Also, Blood Rain 2 has a much more, like, fleshed out hand-to-hand combat system than the first game. And also, there are so many ragdolls. There are so many ragdolls in this game. The ragdoll physics in Blood Rain 2 are out of control. You can basically pick up guys and throw them at objects in the environment to, like, kill them instantly. You can throw them onto spikes, throw them into fire, just throw them off of ledges and let the fall kill them. And it's incredibly, like, easy to just pick a guy up and throw him. You have a chain that you can, like, attach to guys and then hurl them across the room. It's so much fun. It's so dumb. It's an incredibly unserious game in a way that is very, very endearing. I would say it's better than Warrior Within, but not as good as Beyond Good and Evil. So it goes up here. Okay. Blood Rain 2 is our new number 51. Hang on a sec. Give me 30 seconds. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. So, here we go. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about fucking green screen. There we go. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Just had to quickly grab something. Next game is we're going back to the Game Boy Advance. I've mentioned this game several times in the past, and it's time to finally add it to our list. This is Shining Force: The Resurrection of the Dark Dragon. I have my copy right here. This is the remake, the Game Boy Advance remake of the original Shining Force. It was remade by Climax, the original developers of Shining Force 1 for the Mega Drive. It is an excellent remake of Shining Force 1. Unfortunately, it did not sell very well, so they never got around to remaking Shining Force 2 for the GBA. But at least we've got this one. The picture up there is of the North American box art, where it was put out by Atlas. Here in Europe, it was put out by THQ. And this is a very, very good strategy RPG for the Game Boy Advance. It's a lot better than the original Mega Drive version of Shining Force 1. The original version of Shining Force 1 was kind of a little bit too basic. It was a little bit like baby's first tactics RPG. Whereas for the GBA remake, they really flesh it out a little bit more. They add a little bit more to the systems. They make it a bit more in depth. There's more to it. And I think it is quite good. I would say it's better than Blood Rain 2. It is not as good as Beyond Good and Evil. Ooh, insert robot. There we go. Okay. Now, I didn't play this game in 2004, but it did come out technically for the first time in 2004. We are heading to a new platform. The Nintendo DS was launched in Japan and North America at the end of 2004. It would not get a European release until early 2005. But this is one of my favourite early games for the platform. It's in fact a launch game, I believe. It is, get ready, from Sonic Team, Project Rub. Project Rub is an incredibly charming minigame collection for the DS with a very, very interesting art style. And it's very funny. It's a comedy game. Unfortunately, the European name of the game, Project Rub, is maybe not the most flattering name they could have given it. I believe in Japan it was called Rub Rabbits, and in North America it was called Feel the Magic or something. But yeah, the European... Sega of Europe just decided, I don't know, what if we gave it a pervert name? Yeah, it's fucking crazy. This game is super charming and actually quite funny. This is my original copy, by the way. I have gameplay footage of this game on my channel, I believe, in my Nintendo DS playlist when I was ranking my 10 favourite DS games. This game did... I don't think this game made it on... I don't think it did. I don't think this game made it onto the list, but it was like a... it was like an honourable mention. This game is very, very good. It's very, very charming. It's short, but it's very charming. It's a very good early original, like, Nintendo DS game. I think it's better than Shining Force, but not as good as Beyond Good and Evil. So it goes here. There we go. So our new number 51. Okay. Next 2004 game is a little game called Second Sight, which I have my original copy here. Second Sight is by Free Radical, the creators of Time Splitters, and it is a genuinely quite good third-person shooter with like psychic powers. You are a man who wakes up in a hospital. You don't remember who you are. You don't remember how you got there. All you know is that your head hurts like hell, and you appear to have psychic powers. You can pick things up and throw them. You can mess with people's minds. You can block bullets from hitting you. It's got some really interesting mechanics, and also the game has actually got quite a good story as well. This game has, honestly, actually maybe one of the better stories of the games I played from this generation. It's a really cool little third-person shooter, like an alternative third-person shooter with a pretty damn good story that I think deserves more attention. One major knock I would put against it is that it has an unskippable tutorial, and the tutorial is very long and very boring, but once you get past that tutorial, the game like opens up and becomes a lot more playable. I think it's better than Project Rub. I might actually prefer Second Sight to Beyond Good and Evil. It might be a better game than Black and White. It's not as good as WarioWare, so no, it goes between Black and White and WarioWare. Here we go, it's our new number 49. Okay, heading back to the PC for our next 2004 release. Evil Genius. Evil Genius is a really cool game. It is, for those of you who don't know, it is a clone of an older PC game called Dungeon Keeper. Dungeon Keeper was a game by Bullfrog Software in the mid-90s, where you are the master of a fantasy-style dungeon with like monsters and treasure rooms and traps and stuff like that, but you are designing the dungeon and recruiting the monsters and laying the traps. And periodically, as you expand your dungeon, heroes will like arrive and try and like fight their way to the heart of your dungeon and, you know, and kill all your minions. And basically the game is you have to construct a design of a dungeon that the heroes can't successfully conquer. It's a really cool game. And Evil Genius is a take on that idea, except instead of a fantasy style dungeon, it is a 1960s spy thriller style. And you are a supervillain, like a Blofeld style supervillain, who are building your secret lair that you need to protect from secret agents that get sent to your lair to try and, you know, uncover your schemes. And it's a really good take on the Dungeon Keeper idea. And it's got a very cool stylistic art style. I spent so much time playing Evil Genius. This game is really cool. It's a little bit tough to get up and running on modern operating systems, I think, but it's worth looking at, especially if you played the Dungeon Keeper games and thought those were good. Evil Genius is fantastic. There was a sequel, Evil Genius 2 was a game that came out, but I don't know, I didn't get... Evil Genius 2 didn't hit the same way as the original game. Let's see, I like it more than Second Sight, I like it more than WarioWare, I don't like it as much as Space Channel 5, so it's going here for me. Okay, now for our next game we are going back to the DS for another DS launch title. It is WarioWare Touched. Again, it's yellow, so the colour key is messing with it. WarioWare Touched is, I think, still the best WarioWare game. It is the height of the franchise. WarioWare Touched is still to this day the best WarioWare game ever made. It is also secretly, I think, the best launch game for the DS. Some people try to say it's Mario 64 DS, but I think it's WarioWare Touched. I would personally put WarioWare Touched above Evil Genius. It's better than Space Channel 5. Is it? Yes it is. But I don't like it as much as Ikaruga, so it's here. So new number 47. Okay. Next game, back to the PC. It's Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, a cult classic of an RPG, a game that has just been, a sequel has just recently come out that is nowhere near as good. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines is a very, very unique take on the immersive sim and RPG genres. That is very stylish and has some really interesting writing. If maybe it doesn't always work perfectly, it's an incredibly buggy game. This game has a lot of technical issues that have been patched to varying levels of success over the years. But despite its flaws, I think this game is still incredible. I think it's better than WarioWare Touched. I don't think it's as good as Ikaruga. So it's going here. Okay. Next game, we are going back to the GameCube for Metroid Prime 2, of which I still have my original copy right here. Metroid Prime 2 is a very, very good Metroid Prime game. It is not the best Metroid Prime game, but it is very good. I would say it is... Yeah, it's the third best. It's the third best Metroid Prime game, but I would... It's between... It's between Metroid Prime 1 and Metroid Prime 4, but make no mistake, it is a far, 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 far better game than Metroid Prime 4. Metroid Prime 4 is very easily the worst Metroid Prime game. It goes Metroid Prime 3, Metroid Prime 1, Metroid Prime 2, Metroid Prime 4, and my hand is down by the floor. Oh my god. Okay, where am I going to put this? I think So Metroid Prime 1 is all the way up in 18th place. I would say Metroid Prime 2 is better than Medieval. It's better than Rogue Squadron 2. But it's not better than Burnout 2. No, it is. It is better than Burnout 2. It's not better than Panzer Dragoon Auto. Okay. There we go. Metroid Prime 2 is our new number 33. Okay. Next game from 2004 that stands out to me personally. Doom 3. Doom 3 is probably the most divisive Doom game. There are the people who like Doom 3 really like Doom 3, and the people who don't like Doom 3 fucking hate it. It's the most divisive Doom game. It is the one Doom game that plays nothing like any of the other Doom games. Every single other Doom game made before and after Doom 3 has been an extremely fast-paced action game. Whereas Doom 3 is a much slower paced, it's more of a horror game, really. You think of the other Doom games as being like super fast-paced action, enemies coming at you from all sides. They're more about it's more about mobility than anything else, and just trying to stay ahead of your enemies while shooting them, taking them out one by one. Doom 3 is a much more. It's more about horror. Doom 3 is a horror game. Very tight, enclosed environments, lots of very, very dark rooms. The lighting system in Doom 3 is incredible. The way this game handles light and shadow is something else. It is a very, very striking game to look at, still to this day. There's nothing else that looks quite like Doom 3. Even other Doom 3 engine games don't look quite like Doom 3 in terms of their lighting. It's a very distinctive look this game goes for. Doom 3 is a better game than Panzer Dragoon Auto. It is not as good as Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. There we go. It's our new number 33. Okay, next game from 2004. Cave Story. Cave Story is a delightful little indie game where you play as a boy with a little red hat who has to explore a giant cave system. You make friends along the way. It's got a very interesting level up system for your weapons, and it's got a charming little story. It's just a really good 2D platformer. It just feels great. It's got a great soundtrack, it's got great controls, very charming characters. It is a great little game. It's also one of the major inspirations for Toby Fox when creating Undertale. Cave Story is one of the games he pulled from the most when making that game. Cave Story is sick. I haven't played Cave Story in a long time. I should maybe rectify that. It's better than Doom 3. I like Cave Story more than Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. It's not as good as Pro Skater 3. Okay, so our new number 31. Okay. Next game, 2004. Going back to the Game Boy Advance again. It is Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap. An excellent classic style Zelda game. Also, again, one of the best Game Boy Advance games. An excellent game. I believe made by Capcom. This was not made by Nintendo. I believe, Capcom made this for Nintendo, and they did an excellent job. It uses the same art style, or at least a very similar art style to the Wind Waker. I no longer have my physical copy of Minish Cap. I sold it. And I think this game is phenomenal. I think it's better than Cave Story. It is not as good as Pro Skater 3. There we go. Okay. Let me get some stuff out of the way. Next game. It's another Hitman game. It is the follow-up to Hitman 2. Hitman Contracts. I played this game on PC. This is everything good about Hitman 2, but better. Unlike Hitman 2, it doesn't follow a single continuous chain of events. Hitman Contracts is like an anthology game. Every mission is like a different mission from time, because the concept is Agent 47, a mission has gone wrong and he's taken a bullet to the torso, and so he's hiding out in his hotel room recovering from his bullet wound, and while he's recovering from his bullet wound he's like drifting in and out of consciousness, and as he drifts in and out of consciousness he's remembering past missions he went on, and that's all the levels of Hitman Contracts. It's got some of the most memorable Hitman missions from the entire franchise. It's got the Haunted Hotel, which is fantastic. That is a fantastic mission. Where you need to infiltrate a luxury hotel and assassinate a guy who is currently using the swimming pool. And the hotel also happens to be haunted, so you can find ghosts. You can find spooky shit in certain parts of the hotel. It's a really cool and interesting take on the Hitman formula. I really like Hitman Contracts. I like it more than Pro Skater 3. I like it more than Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Here's the thing. It's got some of the best missions from any Hitman game ever, but I'm going to say the average quality of the mission is not quite as high as Hitman 2. So even though it's got higher highs than Hitman 2, Hitman 2 is more consistent. So I think Hitman 2 is still a better game than Hitman Contracts. It's better than Star Trek Armada 2. I like it more than Project Zero. I like it more than Freedom Fighters. It's not as good as Superstar Saga, so it's going between Freedom Fighters and Superstar Saga. For me, personally. Oh look, right next to the other IO Interactive game. Look at that. Oh, didn't mean to do that. There we go. Okay, next game. Going back to the original Xbox for this one. Halo 2. Halo 2 is a game that, when it first came out, was extremely popular. This game sold incredibly well, despite being on a platform that maybe wasn't doing super well in the marketplace. Halo 2 sold quite well. Has a legendarily horrific development cycle. The people who made Halo 2 had a terrible time doing it. It's one of the all-time worst development stories you'll ever hear, trying to get Halo 2 out in time for its deadline. I think Halo 2 is a really good game. I don't think it's as good as Halo 1. It's better than Freedom Fighters, it's better than Contracts. I like it more than Superstar Saga, I like it more than Freelancer. I don't like it more than Max Payne. It's going below Max Payne. Halo 1 is all the way up in 9th place. Halo 2 is down in 23rd place. I think Halo 1 is just a more well-designed overall video game than 2. 2 has some really cool moments. 2 has some absolutely like incredible moments. But Halo 1 is just more consistently good throughout the game. Okay. Next game, going back to the GameCube. It's another Mario RPG. It is Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. And I still have my original copy of Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. It's a very, very charming little RPG. It's everything that was good about the original Paper Mario, but like improved to like the nth degree. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door is still considered by most people to be the best Paper Mario game. It is a fantastic, all-time great GameCube game. Absolutely worth playing. Absolutely. It's better than Halo 2. I think Thousand Year Door might be better than Max Payne. It's not as good as Silent Hill 2, so it's very good. Okay. Alright. Moving on. For our next 2004 game, it's Grand Theft Auto San Andreas for the PC. I have a PC copy here. The only clean box art scan I could find was for the PS2 copy, but I played this game on PC. This is the hands down the best classic, PS2 era Grand Theft Auto game. In some ways, it hasn't really been topped in some ways. There are ideas that were introduced in this game that have never been used since. There's just something about the vibe and the style and the tone of this game that just haven't been matched since. It's an incredible game. San Andreas is an all-time great for a reason. Okay. It's better than Paper Mario, it's better than Silent Hill 2, it's better than Tales of Symphonia, it's better than Yoshi's Island. I would take it over Metroid Prime 1. I would take it over Homeworld 2. I would not take it over Soul Calibur 2, so it goes between Homeworld and Soul Calibur 2. Here we go. Okay. Next game. We're going back to the Total War franchise. Our next 2004 release. It is Rome Total War. This is one of the all-time great Total War games. I have a copy of it. It's not the original release. It's a white label re-release copy, but it's still the original it's still Rome Total War, so it counts. Rome Total War, I think, is still to this day, still my favourite Total War game. I played a few after this one, but I never really got the same enjoyment out of those as I did Rome. Rome is an incredible game. Rome is fantastic. And I think it's the same for a lot of people. A lot of people who played Rome back in the day still consider this to be their favourite. There's something about this game that is just incredible. Rome Total War is a better game than Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. It is a better game than Soul Calibur 2. It is a better game than Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. It is better than Advance Wars. It is better than Time Splitters 2. It is better than Jedi Outcast. It's better than Animal Crossing. It's better than Super Mario Sunshine. It is not as good as Halo 1. There we go. It's our new number 10. Okay. Only 2 games left from 2004. Oh god, not this one. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Okay. Skip the entirety of the Sonic R soundtrack there. Okay, next game from 2004 that I want to rank is Warhammer 40,000 Dawn of War. I do have a physical copy of Dawn of War somewhere, but I don't know where it has gone. It is somewhere in my storage room, and I wasn't able to locate it in time for this video, so apologies about that. Dawn of War is a fucking great RTS. It is one of my favourite RTSs of all time. It's one of Relic's best games. It is, to me, still the best Dawn of War game. Dawn of War 2 is really good, but I don't like it as much. Dawn of War 3 is, we don't talk about Dawn of War 3. But man, I spent so many late nights playing Dawn of War 1. Holy shit. Fantastic game. Fantastic game. It's better than Rome Total War. I would take it over Halo 1. I would take it over Max Payne 2. I would take it over Hitman 2. I would take it over MechWarrior 4. I would take it over Super Smash Bros. Melee. I would not take it over Advance Wars 2. There we go. Okay. Great game. Fantastic game. Okay, our final game of 2004, which was also our top rated game of 2004. Some of you might already know what it is. It is, of course, Half-Life 2. Half-Life 2 is an incredible first-person shooter. It looked amazing at the time. It had a, for the time, incredible physics engine. The Source engine was unbelievably impressive in 2004. Like, it was one of those huge leaps forward that you don't expect. you expect games to kind of look and behave a certain way, and then all of a sudden here comes Half-Life 2 with like its incredible looking graphics and its incredibly like complex and realistic physics system, and then it's got the fucking gravity gun, which was an idea that was stolen by so many other games. Half-Life 2 is one of the best first-person shooters of all time, still to this day. There are many first-person shooters that come out today, these days, that are nowhere near as good as Half-Life 2. What a fucking incredible game. It's better than Warhammer 40,000, it's better than Advance Wars 2, it's better than F-Zero GX, it's better than Wind Waker. It is better than, I would say it's a better game overall than Metal Gear Solid 2. So we have a new number one. For now, we have a new number one. Incredible fucking video game. You don't need me to tell you that. You probably already know. Okay, we're probably going to do one more year. Because we are at 2.5, no, we're at almost 3 hours. We're going to get through 5 years worth of games before we're going to have to call an end to this and maybe do a part 3 and then maybe a part 4. It's going a lot faster than part 1 did, but it's still not fast enough. Okay. Okay. Alright, so if you give me 1 minute to go and grab some things, I'll be back in a moment. Okay, I'm back, and my green screen is not quite tight enough. There it goes. No, not quite tight enough. That's better. Okay. So, 2005. What is our lowest rated game for 2005 among games that I really like from 2005? Remember, every game we're ranking today is a game that I like, even if it doesn't get very high on this overall list. It's still an incredible game to me. The first game is for the original Xbox and PC, Stubbs the Zombie, Rebel Without a Pulse. It's a really fun, interesting third-person action game where you play as a zombie, and your primary method of getting through the level is to form a horde of minion zombies that will charge forward and take out any enemies in front of you. In some ways, this game is very similar to Freedom Fighters. It's a very similar idea, but instead of like resistance members to fight the Soviets, you're creating a horde of zombies to fight police and army and soldiers. It's a very, very silly game that I think drags out a little bit. It's maybe the game is a little bit too long. There are certainly some levels in this game that go on a little bit too long. But it's such a weird and silly and goofy game. It's worth looking at. Stubbs the Zombie got a re-release in recent years. There's an up-to-date PC version out there that is, I think, is worth looking at. it's such a strange and unique game. It deserves, I don't know, somebody needs to revisit this concept of you being a patient zero zombie and creating a horde of minions to, like, you know, destroy humanity. Okay, so Stubbs, I would say, it's better than C12. It's better than Mafia. It's better than Rise of Nations, but it's not as good as Beautiful Joe. There we go. So our new number 81. Okay. Okay, for our next game, we're heading back to the Nintendo DS. Next game is Trauma Center Under the Knife. And do I have my... Okay, for some reason... Okay, Trauma Center was on the wrong pile for some reason. Trauma Center Under the Knife is I think a very important Nintendo DS release. It's a very fun, very creative take on it's so you're performing surgeries, but you're performing it with, like, the touchscreen. So you're given these situations where a patient has come into the hospital and they've got so and so injuries, and their life is in danger from their injuries, and you have a limited amount of time to save their life. And so you need to be good at performing certain tasks in specific orders, because if you try and perform tasks in the wrong order, you try and deal with something before something else, that can make the patient worse. The game is about precision and speed. You need to know exactly what you're doing. You need to be able to do it quickly, and you need to be accurate. It is a game that is very cool and fun, but can get fucking really hard. The later levels of this game are, I'm gonna say, just not fun. The last 2 or 3 operations of Trauma Center are just straight up not fun, but the vast majority of the game is actually extremely good, and it should be looked at. It's a shame that they don't make these games anymore. They made 2 of them for the original Wii, and then nothing after that. They made 2 DS games and 2 Wii games? Or was it just the one Wii game? I don't remember. And they haven't made any more since then. I would personally put Trauma Center between Stubbs the Zombie and Beautiful Joe. There we go. So our new number 81. Okay. Oops. Next game is a mostly forgotten game from BioWare for the original Xbox and PC. This game is Jade Empire for the original Xbox. So Jade Empire is a BioWare style RPG, but set in like a mystical fantasy version of Asia. You know, like this is a version of China where all of the myths are true. Dragons exist, magic swords exist, kung fu has enough power to destroy rocks. It is very much a game styled after like fantastical, like Asian fairy tales, stuff like that. You know, it's but it's also steampunk. So it's got all like the Asian mysticism stuff, but then it's also steampunk as well. It's a very strange game stylistically, but I really like it. Jade Empire is sick. It's a game that I think it's the BioWare RPG that everyone's forgotten. Everyone's all like, oh my god, Mass Effect this, oh my god, Old Republic that. It's like, no man, Jade Empire was fantastic. I would put Jade Empire above Beautiful Joe, above Bridge Commander, above Gotcha Force, above Sonic Advance 2. It's above 1080 Avalanche, but it's below Soul Reaver 2. There we go. So our new number 76. Okay. Next game, heading back to the DS. Some people might not even call this a game. I think it counts. Uh-oh. Do I not have box art for this one? Uh-oh. Hang on. I can fix this. Hang on. I got one. Here it is. It's a little bit blurry, but you can see what it is. Dr. Kawashima's Brain Training. How old is your brain? Which I still have my original copy of. This was a gigantic release for the DS. This sold so many fucking copies. This sold millions of copies. This dumb little brain training game where you solve simple logical puzzles. You solve a series of like different kinds of puzzle in quick succession, and that somehow is skip that one. And that was somehow meant to tell you how smart you were. It was really dumb. The science behind it was maybe not super accurate, but it was a fun little game that sold really fucking well. And Dr. Kawashima's weird little polygonal head was also quite fun to look at. This game's cool as hell. It's a really important part of the original DS library. I think it's a better game than Jade Empire. I think it's better than Soul Reaver 2, but it's not as good as Paper Mario 1. Okay. Moving on. Okay, where are you? There you are. Do I not have box art for this one either? Jesus Christ, I'm slipping. I've got to quickly go grab a box art for this one. Here we go. It is also for the DS. Resident Evil Deadly Silence. Which this is that's the North American box art. This is the European box art. So a little bit different. They still got the Tyrant. This is a port of the original OG Resident Evil 1, and it is my favourite version of the game. It's a game that it's a version of Resident Evil 1 that fixes lots and lots of issues with the game. It includes a lot of quality of life features that were introduced into later Resident Evil games. Like it has the 180 degree turn feature, so you can turn around 180 degrees really quickly if you need to. It has auto aim if that's what you want. If you just want to if you pull out your gun, if you aim your gun and there's an enemy nearby, you will automatically snap to the direction that nearest enemy is. There's an auto reload that doesn't require you to go to the inventory screen. It has a quick knife, so the knife, which is usually not that useful in Resident Evil, is extremely useful in this version of the game because it is passively equipped to the left shoulder button at all times, and you can just hold the left shoulder button and pull the knife out, and it makes it so much more useful than in any other version of Resident Evil 1. You can just very quickly, just by holding down the shoulder button, pull out the knife and start stabbing things. It gives the knife so much more utility than it did originally, and it doesn't take up space in your inventory, so it's so much more useful. Drawbacks are it doesn't look as good as the original PlayStation version because it runs at a lower resolution, and also all of the background art and FMV files have been put through extremely intense compression in order to fit the game onto a 128 megabyte cartridge. The game was originally like 600 megabytes on a disc, and they squeezed the entirety of that 600 megabytes into 128. So this game has some very, very, very severe image and audio compression, which is a shame because it plays amazingly. It is the best playing version of original Resident Evil 1. It is great. So many good quality of life improvements they added to it. I like it more than Dr. Kawashima's Brain Training. I like it more than Paper Mario. It's better than Worms World Party. It's not as good as Tony Hawk's Underground. There. Okay. Next, 2005 release. If I've got the box art, I do have the box art. That's good. I've got the box art this time. Hooray. Okay. Killer 7. I do not have a physical copy of Killer 7. This is a game I played many years later. I played the PC port of Killer 7. This game originally came out on GameCube and PS2. This is a Suda 51 game. This is Suda 51. This game is stylistically incredible. It is a gorgeous game to look at. It has a batshit story. It has incredibly interesting characters. There is no other first person. Would you call it a third or first person? Because when you're running around, the camera is third person, but when you're aiming your gun, it switches to first person. It's I guess you would call it a first person shooter because the actual shooting is done in first person. Okay. Yeah, it's an incredibly unique take on a first-person shooter that is incredibly fucking stylish, and it is still absolutely worth playing today. Killer 7 fucking rocks. I would say it's better than Resident Evil Deadly Silence. It is better than Tony Hawk's Underground. It is a better game than the original Call of Duty. It is a better game than Virtua Tennis 2. As much as I hate to admit it, it is not a better game than Prince of Persia: The Warrior Within, so... Killer 7 by Grasshopper and Capcom. There we go. Okay, now we're getting into another new platform. It's 2005, and you know what launched at the end of 2005? The Xbox 360. Amped 3 for the Xbox 360 is one of the best, if not the best, snowboarding game ever made. I love me some Amped 3. It is a very it is a game that is very, very different to its predecessors. Amped 1 and 2 are very like self-serious takes on snowboarding. They're very like buttoned up, like no, snowboarding is a real sport. We're gonna, we're gonna be respectable about this. We're not gonna do like the silly stylistic stuff that SSX is doing over on the PlayStation. No, we're going to do a much more buttoned up, more like professional, like snowboarding sim, because snowboarding's a real sport, damn it. That's what the first two Amped games were like. Very, very dry, serious takes on the sport. Whereas Amped 3 is an incredibly goofy, unserious, irreverent game. This game starts off with you dressed in a mascot costume throwing snowballs at people while Blinded by the Light is playing. It's got maybe one of the best intro sequences of any snowboarding game ever. It's incredible. We should play some Amped 3 at some point. We need to play some Amped 3. I fucking love this Amped 3. I have not played this game in like over a decade. It's due. And they never made an Amped 4. That was it. This launch game for the 360 was the final time they made an Amped game, which is really sad because this game fucking rules. It's so good. It's better than Warrior Within. I would take it over Blood Rain 2. It's better than Shining Force Resurrection of Dark Dragon. It's better than Project Rub. I like it more than Beyond Good and Evil. I don't like it as much as Black and White. So it's going between Beyond Good and Evil and Black and White. There we go. It is a... It's such a weird game. It's a comedy game that also happens to be a snowboarding game, and it's genuinely funny. It's a very funny game. Okay. Next game from 2005. Again, some people might not consider this a game, but I think it is. It is not in my box art library. Hang on, give me a second. I've got to go quickly find it. This one's got a border, but whatever, it'll have to do. It is the original Nintendogs, which I still have my original copy. Nintendogs is a virtual pet simulator for the DS that sold incredibly well. This sold millions of copies. This was a phenomenon. Phenomenon? I don't use the word very often. I'm not sure how it ends. It's also really charming, and it uses the DS's abilities in really cool ways, like the microphone. It uses voice commands. And you can train it with your voice. It's an incredible use of the platform. It's really cool. It's better than Amped 3. It's better than Black and White, which is also in its own way a virtual pet simulator. I don't like it as much as Second Sight. So it's going here. Okay.
Beyond all the land and sea and sky, there's blues.
Okay. Right, our next 2005 game is an obscure one. I wonder how many people even know this one exists. It is a GameCube exclusive game. It is Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. Now, those of you thinking, "Oh no, that's I know what Jungle Beat is. That's the music game where you use the bongos, right?" Like, no, that's Donkey Konga. Donkey Konga is the music game where you hit the bongos. Jungle Beat is a platformer. Jungle Beat is a 2D platformer where you move Donkey Kong with the bongos. So you want him to run left, you hit the left bongo. You want him to run right, you hit the right bongo. If you want him to jump, you hit both bongos at the same time. And if you want him to attack, you have to clap. I injured myself playing this game. I remember, I think I borrowed it from a friend who had it. And because I already had Donkey Konga, so I already had the bongos, but he had Jungle Beat. And so I didn't need to borrow his controller, I had my own. And I played this game non-stop without pause for like 4.5 hours. And by the time I stopped playing, I couldn't move my right arm. My right arm had like seized up and I'd pulled a muscle up here. And for the next week, I couldn't move my arm properly because I was playing Jungle Beat so much. I injured myself playing this game because I was so into it. It's a really fucking cool game. The boss fights are interesting because while the main levels are 2D platformers, side-to-side 2D platformers, the boss fights are they're like Punch-Out. You know Punch-Out, the classic boxing game by Nintendo, where you're dodging left and right and looking for openings to hit the opponent. The boss fights in Jungle Beat are Punch-Out, except it's Punch-Out controlled. Except you're controlling Donkey Kong, dodging incoming attacks and looking for openings using the bongos. It's actually really fucking good. It's incredible. I have not played this game in like almost 20 years. I need to find a way to play this game again. I have incredibly fond memories of this game. This game's fucking sick. Jungle Beat is incredible. It is best played with the bongos. There is a version of this game that came out for the Wii, I want to say, but it's just waggle controls. You're just shaking the Wiimote to do what you want to do, so it's nowhere near as good. This game is literally best played with the bongos. Incredible. Incredible game. It is better than Nintendogs, it's better than Second Sight, it's better than WarioWare. Not as good as Evil Genius though. You can't even live in this world. You can't even breathe in this world. You can't even love in this world. Okay. Moving on to the next game from 2005, going back to the DS, it's Sonic Rush. Made by the same people behind the Sonic Advance games, Dimps. Sonic Rush is a fantastic 2D platformer. That makes great use of the dual screen format of the original DS. It's great fun. It has a fantastic soundtrack. And I think it is one of the best Sonic games ever made. It's better than Evil Genius. It's better than Space Channel. No, it's not. It's not better than Space Channel 5. Goes here. So our new number 61. Okay. Okay, we're staying on the DS for our next game. It is, I mentioned this one earlier, Advance Wars Dual Strike. Here's my copy. Very, very good Advance Wars game. Tied for second place with Advance Wars 1. Behind Advance Wars 2. Advance Wars Dual Strike is... I don't know. It might actually be third place. It might be behind Advance Wars 1, actually. I don't remember what ranking I gave it on that DS series. I think it was near... I forget. It's a very, very good Advance Wars game. Not one I revisit terribly often, though. I revisit 1 and 2 more often than I revisit Dual Strike. It's better than Sonic Rush. I would say it's better than Space Channel 5. It's not as good as WarioWare Touched. WarioWare Touched is a better DS game. Okay. Alright. Next game. We're going to the PC now. Quake 4. Quake 4 is a divisive game. A bit like Doom 3. Quake 4 is a game where the people who really like Quake 4 really like Quake 4, and the people who hate Quake 4 despise it. Divisive entry in the Quake franchise. I am on the side of really, really liking Quake 4. This game was at the time visually gorgeous. It uses the same engine as Doom 3, so it makes use of a lot of the same like lighting and shadow tricks that Doom 3 does, although maybe not quite as far as Doom 3 does it. And it's a lot more action heavy than Doom 3. Doom 3 is a horror game. Quake 4 is an action game with horror themes. It's a better game than WarioWare. It's better than Vampire the Masquerade. I like it more than Ikaruga. I don't like it as much as Luigi's Mansion 1. Quake 4 by Raven Software. Cool game. Okay. So... the next game we're going to rank, I played all over the place. I have played every single version of this game that's ever come out. And I have some opinions. Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. I really, 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 really like certain versions of this game. So... there are two different versions of Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. There's the true full-fat version, which was released on the Xbox and PC, and then there was a simplified, cut-down version released for the GameCube and PS2. The full-fat version of Chaos Theory for the Xbox and PC is the version I'm referring to here. This game is incredible for its time. It was a fantastic looking game for its time. It made excellent use of light and shadow. It used a lot of like early real-time lighting tech in some really effective ways. It is, I think, to this day, still my favourite Splinter Cell game. I never enjoyed a Splinter Cell game quite as much as I enjoyed playing through Chaos Theory. This game is really cool. Again, it comes from that time period between 2003 and 2010 when Ubisoft were really knocking it out the park in terms of their Tom Clancy stuff, right? It has maybe aged a little bit poorly. It comes from an era when it's so a lot of Tom Clancy games have aged quite poorly over the years because so many of them were made in and around the War on Terror after 9/11, and a lot of the politics in some of the earlier Tom Clancy's games, in some of the earlier Tom Clancy games, do not hold up to modern scrutiny. There's some real sketchy politics in some of these older Tom Clancy games now that you go back and you play them and you're like, oh my god, Jesus Christ. Oh fuck. We went to some dark fucking places in the years after 2001. It's a big part of the problem we're facing now is, you know, directly follows that era, right? Like, yeah, I think from a gameplay perspective, Chaos Theory is still very fun to play. It's a very satisfying stealth action game. And it is still, to this day, my personal favourite Splinter Cell game. I like it more than Luigi's... Oh, god damn it. I like it more than Luigi's Mansion. I like it more than the Resident Evil remake. I like it more than Ratchet and Clank. I like it more than Rez. I like it more than Jet Set Radio Future. I like it more than Pokemon Ruby Sapphire. I like it more than Sonic Adventure 2, but I don't like it as much as Ratchet and Clank 2. Okay. So our new number 50, Chaos Theory. I do have a physical copy of Chaos Theory, however, it is not a physical copy of the same version that we're ranking. Remember, we're ranking the Xbox and PC version, not the cut down PS2 and GameCube version, which is what I have a physical copy of here. So this is actually a somewhat different game. I would still say the cut down version of Chaos Theory is still a good game, but it is nowhere near as good as the proper full fat version. Oh, I've also got a physical copy of Quake 4 here, but the case is all green, so of course it's destroyed by the colour key. Okay. Moving on to our next 2005 game. So, going back to the Xbox 360, this is an Xbox Live Arcade release. It is one of the greatest Xbox Live Arcade releases. It is, in fact, Geometry Wars Retro Evolved, which you might think, okay, there's no way in hell he's going to have a physical copy of that. Did you know, in Europe, I don't know if this happened in other parts of the world, but in Europe, some early Xbox Live Arcade games were put onto disc into collections, and I have one right here. This is a copy of Xbox Live Arcade Unplugged, and it is a compilation of how many? Six early Xbox Live Arcade games, one of them being Geometry Wars Retro Evolved, so I have a physical copy of Retro Evolved. Hell yeah. Retro Evolved is fantastic. It is a fantastic dual joystick shooter from an era that was full of dual joystick shooters. Retro Evolved is incredible. It's a very visually striking game. It feels great to play. It is just the right level of like intensity and chaos, where everything feels like it's getting on top of you, but not so much that it feels impossible. Fantastic game. It's better than Ratchet & Clank 2. It's better than Medieval Total War. It's better than Capcom vs SNK. It's better than Virtua Fighter 4. It's better than Rogue Squadron 2. Is it better than Burnout 2? No. No, it is not. You know what? Actually, you know what? No, I don't think it's as good as Rogue Squadron 2 either, now that I think about it. I think this goes between Virtua Fighter 4 and Rogue Squadron 2. Yeah, there we go. Geometry Wars Retro Evolved is our new 2005 release. So the reason I've got two dates here, 2003 and 2005, written next to it is because there was a version of Geometry Wars that was included in, was it Project Gotham 2? For the original Xbox, there was like a mini game, Geometry Wars, that you could unlock. So technically Geometry Wars first appeared in 2003, but this incarnation, Retro Evolved, is what we're ranking, and that came out in 2005, so that's why that is. Okay. Next game, we are going back to the GameCube and PS2, because our next game is Time Splitters Future Perfect. Of which I still have my physical copy. Time Splitters Future Perfect is a really, really good follow-up to Time Splitters 2. It has a much more fleshed out single-player mode than Time Splitters 2 did. It's got more of a story. Time Splitters 2 barely had any story. It was mostly just a series of levels that you had to fight your way from one end to the other, and then jump through the portal at the end. Future Perfect has a much more like, there's a lot more just story and characters than 2 did. It also ripped off the gravity gun from Half-Life 2. One of the many, many, many games after Half-Life 2 to rip off the gravity gun. The multiplayer mode in Future Perfect is nowhere near as good as the multiplayer in Time Splitters 2. It is you definitely get the sense that the multiplayer was second to the single player in this game, whereas in Time Splitters 2 it was the other way around. The multiplayer was the main mode, and then the single player was like an afterthought. So the multiplayer options are nowhere near as good in Future Perfect, but Future Perfect is still a very good game, I would say. I like Future Perfect more than Burnout 2. I like it more than Metroid Prime 2. I like it more than Panzer Dragoon Orta. I like it more than Doom 3. I like it more than Tactics Advance. I like it more than Cave Story. I like it more than the Minish Cap. I do not like it as much as Pro Skater 3. So it's going between Minish Cap and Tony Hawk 3. There we go. Future Perfect. A perfectly decent follow-up to Time Splitters 2. We should play Future Perfect at some point. I haven't played Future Perfect in years. We need to play Future Perfect. The game's pretty good. Okay. Moving on. The next game, we're going back to the DS again. Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow. A fantastic Castlevania game that came out for the DS in 2005. One of 3 fantastic DS Castlevania games. Of the 3, Dawn of Sorrow is my favourite, and it's not even close. Some people prefer Order of Ecclesia, but I'm not one of those people. Dawn of Sorrow is a fantastic Symphony of the Night style Castlevania game that I believe got re-released on other platforms relatively recently. It's called the Castlevania Dominus Collection, which is the collection of the 3 DS Castlevania games. That is an incredible package. All 3 of those games are great. And I like Dawn of Sorrow more than Future Perfect. Do I like it more than Pro Skater 3? I don't know. I don't think I... No, I don't. I don't think it's better than Pro Skater 3, so it's going between Time Splitters and Pro Skater 3. It's going here, for now. For now, it is our new number 38. Okay. We're staying with the DS for our next game. A lot of DS games. This is an all-time DS classic. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. I still have my original copy here. In my opinion, the DS version is still the best version of the game. Yes, there is that HD remaster that they put out for other platforms, but for specific reasons that I will not get into because they are complex, I will not talk about why I still think the DS version is the best version of the game. A really, 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 really well-written and goofy anime-style court procedural drama. Court procedural? Am I pronouncing that name correctly? Procedural? There we go. It's an all-time great visual novel. It is one of the games that made visual novels accepted here in the West. There's definitely a line, like Phoenix Wright is a line for visual novel acceptance in Western territories. Before Phoenix Wright, visual novels were completely shunned by everyone except weirdos. After Phoenix Wright, after Phoenix Wright 1, visual novels started getting accepted into the mainstream. So that is I think what Phoenix Wright is best known for these days. Where would I put it? It's better than Dawn of Sorrow. I think it is not as good as Pro Skater 3, so Pro Skater 3, bit of a barrier right now. Very, very, very well-written game with beautiful pixel art and an excellent soundtrack. Again, it's got a dual date. It's got a 2001 and a 2005 date on its listing. And that's because this game originally came out for the Game Boy Advance only in Japan in 2001. But this game is best played on the DS. There are so many improvements made to this game when it was re-released on the DS. Better controls, better visual quality, like better sound quality, better like more content. It is a night and day better experience on the DS than it was originally on the Game Boy Advance. So even though this is technically a 2001 Game Boy Advance game, spiritually this is a DS game. It is best played on the DS. Okay, that's why I'm going to rank the DS version and not the Game Boy Advance version. And I want to say that most people who played this for the first time played it on DS. Right, next game. We are heading back to the Xbox and PC for Fable: The Lost Chapters. I really liked the first two Fable games. Fable: The Lost Chapters was a improved, updated version of the original Fable. So Fable is a third-person action game. You play as a hero in a fantasy setting. And very similar to Black and White, Lionhead's previous game, there is a very strict morality system. You can be good or evil. And depending on the decisions you make, it changes the visual look of your character. The more evil things you do, the more evil you look. The more good things you do, the more, heroic and handsome you look. And it's very much stylistically, at least, the follow-up to Black and White. It's dealing in very similar concepts, except it's a third-person action game instead of an RTS. I really like the original Fable. Fable 1 and Fable 2 are some of my favourite games of their respective eras. So Fable: The Lost Chapters, I would put it above Phoenix Wright. I would personally put it above Pro Skater 3. I would put it above Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I would put it above Rainbow Six 3. I would put it above Armada 2. I would put it above Project Zero 2. I would not put it above Freedom Fighters. So it's our new number 33 for now. Okay, staying on the Xbox, we have one of the all-time great original Xbox games, Ninja Gaiden Black. So just like Fable: The Lost Chapters, Ninja Gaiden Black is an upgraded re-release of the reboot of Ninja Gaiden for the original Xbox. It has more content, it has improved camera controls. I want to say they fixed some of the more unfair boss encounters in boss fights in the game, so it's a little bit more fair. This game is brutally hard. All of the Ninja Gaiden games are brutally hard. But my god, are they stylish, and my god, are they incredibly cool. I no longer have my copy of Ninja Gaiden Black, but I have very fond memories of it. It's a fucking excellent game. It's better than Freedom Fighters. It's better than Hitman Contracts. I would say it's better than Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga. I don't like it as much as Freelancer, so it's going between Superstar Saga and Freelancer. Okay. Only 2 games left for 2005. Getting to the end of this part. And the next game we're looking at is a Double Fine classic. It is Psychonauts. I adore Psychonauts. I have not one, but 2 physical copies. Unfortunately, the colour key is absolutely destroying these, but I've got an original Xbox copy and an original PC copy. For some reason, my PC copy is an American copy. You can tell by the age rating down there. I do not know how this ended up in Europe. But the version I got just happened to be an American copy of the PC version, which is strange, but whatever, it's the same game. Psychonauts is so fucking charming and creative and well written, and it is not the most well controlling 3D platformer. There are certainly aspects about this game's platforming that kind of don't feel great, especially now, so many years later. But in terms of character design, world design, writing, art style, like just sheer ideas for levels, it's incredible. It's such a fucking amazing game. Psychonauts is an all-time great, and I have a big place for it in my heart. I've played through this game many times, at least 4 or 5 times from beginning to end. This game is incredible. I love Psychonauts 1. It's better than Freelancer. I like it more than Halo 2. I like Psychonauts better than Max Payne 1. I like it more than Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. I like it more than Silent Hill 2. I like it more than Tales of Symphonia. I like it more than Yoshi's Island, the GBA. I like it more than Metroid Prime 1. I like it better than Homeworld 2. To me, it's a better game than San Andreas. I like it more than Soul Calibur 2. Okay, now it's getting hard. Is it better than Sands of Time? Okay. Yes. Yes, it is. It's better than Sands of Time. Is it better than Advance Wars 1? Yes, it is better than Advance Wars 1. Is it better than Time Splitters 2? Yes, I like it more than Time Splitters 2. I like it more than Jedi Outcast. I like it more than the original Animal Crossing. I wouldn't put it ahead of Mario Sunshine though, so it goes between Animal Crossing and Super Mario Sunshine. This is a great, great game. It's so fucking, like, creative and clever and charming and just striking to look at, because it's going for a very abstract art style. It still kind of holds up visually because it's not trying to be remotely realistic, like, at all. It's like I don't know, the art style is like late 90s, early 2000s Cartoon Network. You know, it's like it's that kind of era. It's like a Courage the Cowardly Dog sort of take on its art style, although, again, not exactly that either. It's like a little bit different than that. It's that sort of hyper exaggerated, you know, style, similar to that. It's such a cool game stylistically. Even if it doesn't always control the best, I would die for Psychonauts. Oh, this game's great. This game is fantastic. And the sequel was even better. Great game. Amazing game. Okay. We only have one game left for 2005, and can any of you guess what it is? I'll give you a hint. I played it from beginning to end on my channel a couple of years ago now. Was it 2 years ago or was it 3 years ago? I don't remember. God, time moves fast. It is Resident Evil 4, of which I have the copy right here. So when I played through it from beginning to end a few years ago, that was the first time I played any significant amount of this game. I think I mentioned before that in another video that I bought my copy in like 2007, like years after it came out, like second hand, and thought, this is something I'd like to try. And I played like the first hour of it and then gave up. And then basically it sat in my storage boxes for years and years and years and years, until eventually I forced myself to play through it for my channel. And I think this game's fucking great. I understand now why so many people love this game. Resident Evil 4 is incredible. It's really, really good. It is one of the best games of the last 25 years. Easy. It's better than Mario Sunshine, it's better than Rome Total War, it's better than Halo 1, it's better than Max Payne 2, it's better than Hitman 2, it's better than MechWarrior 4, it's better than Super Smash Bros. Melee, it's better than Dawn of War, it's better than Advance Wars 2. It's better than F-Zero GX. Is it better than The Wind Waker? Jesus Christ. Asking tough questions. Is it better than The Wind Waker? Man. I love The Wind Waker. Yes, it is. It is better than Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. Is it better than fucking Google Sheets? Don't do that. Is it better than Metal Gear Solid 2: Sons of Liberty? Is the story better than Metal Gear Solid 2? Absolutely not. Does it play better than Metal Gear Solid 2? Absolutely. Listen, I love Metal Gear Solid 2. I might take Resident Evil 4 over Metal Gear Solid 2. It is not better than Half-Life 2. So it's going, our new number 2 is Resident Evil 4 for the GameCube and PS2. An incredible game. And with that is 2005, and the first 5 years of my mission to rank all of my favourite games of the last 25 years. We have a total of 104 games. Something we'll find as we go on, the number of games for each year going forward will gradually trend downwards. So for example, 2006 only has 17 games, 2007 has 19, 2008 has 18, 2009 has 16, 2010 has 17, 2011 has 16. So most of what we've looked at today had 20 or more games. Now, in part 3, years should go a little bit quicker because the number of games per year will be going down. There's some years in this document I'm looking at that have fewer than 10. Hell, there's one year that only has 5 games in it. That was not a great year for me, I guess. Cool. Alright, we are picking up speed. We're going a lot faster than we did in part 1, but we've still got a long way to go. Our current top 10 is, in 10th place, Hitman 2 Silent Assassin by IO Interactive from 2002. In 9th place, MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries by Cyberlaw and FASA from 2002. In 8th place, Super Smash Bros. Melee from HAL Laboratories. In 2001, from 2001. 7th place, Warhammer 40,000 Dawn of War by Relic from 2004. In 6th place, Advance Wars 2 Black Hole Rising by Intelligent Systems from 2003. In 5th place, F-Zero GX by Sega and Nintendo from 2003. In 4th place, The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker by Nintendo from 2002. In 3rd place, Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty by Konami from 2001. In 2nd place, Resident Evil 4 by Capcom from 2005, and currently, for the time being, in 1st place on my list of favourite games from the last 25 years is currently Half-Life 2 from Valve from 2004. Like, we've only ranked 5 years and we've already got an incredible top 10 there. It's a murderer's row of games right there. especially the top 5. Holy shit. Breaking into that is going to be tough for the remaining 20 years we have to rank. Anyway, this video has gone on for long enough. We are almost at 4 hours. That is insane. I need to end this video. Part 3 might be later this week. I don't know. I've got some time off from work at the moment, so I might be able to squeeze out a stream or 2 later this week. I haven't quite decided yet, but thank you for joining me for this extremely dumb and pointless endeavour that I am for some reason insisting on continuing. But, you know, it's not like I've got anything better to do with my time. Yeah, thank you for joining me. My name is Therealbluedragon, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.